Yeah.
Welcome back to season 2. What?
God, perfect start. Welcome.
That is every intro we've ever done is just chaos to begin with.
So sad.
Blood Bond season 2.
God damn it.
Blood Bond season 2. It looks different because we're using a different virtual tabletop. This is Foundry virtual tabletop. You can find it on foundryvtt.com. I'm not going to put it on the screen because I'm lazy, but I will put it in the description. There will be music. Sometimes there'll be sounds. Sometimes, if it's probably copyright free, but if someone specifies that they want it in the description, it'll be in the description. If you're the person who made the sound and you're somehow watching this and it isn't, then I'm sorry. Shout at us and we'll fix it. That's it. That's it. Welcome.
All right.
To the Foundry.
Welcome to
Foundry.
A new adventure in an old adventure that we already have been running.
Yes. Welcome back then properly from our hiatus to Blood Bonds. The story of the Ashen Court of Lord Zeal, who note is no longer the foolish king on his placard. He is the arisen king.
Could he still be foolish? Can we add that to the title?
The foolish arisen? What?
You want to get yourself stuck in the stocks.
Yeah, it's first thing that happens, Seth gets sent to the stockades.
I mean, I just turned to a rat and run away. Rat haven't captured me.
Put that rat in a cage immediately. Be no cheese.
Yes, last time, all of you had finalized your business in securing the realms of Freyfrost. And it has been some time since then. The end of spring has passed, and rebuilding has been progressing. There is still a lot of damage to the city, especially through the upper wards, which used as a battleground during the siege. But regardless, everything seemed to be progressing well. For the time, all your characters have been doing your best to help kind of stabilize the efforts that are going on in whatever ways you can, or if nothing else, have been quietly enjoying the spoils of your victory. Whatever you prefer. It's been nearly a month since the siege ended. Eliza has been. It's hard to tell where Eliza's been. She's kind of been here, there, and everywhere, trying to kind of deal with her people. Needless to say, you've not really had a chance to speak with her throughout all this. Moreover, most of the companions you gathered for your court have slowly begun to disperse. They were here for the war, not necessarily. They were here for the battle, not necessarily your entire war. Though some have stuck around, and others are still acquaintances, which you are, you have contacts with when you still need them. However, all of you received a summons a couple of days ago from a small group of your allies. Makara, Lady Mazara, Raiden, all of whom wish to speak to you in the Freyfrost Council Chamber, if you would so give them the time of day.
I think we can give them the time of day, yeah, of all people.
For sure.
Yeah, that seems fine.
Let's do it.
Very well.
I suppose that's one thing for this first session. Loading times may vary because it'll be quicker and other times, but for the first time we load into maps, it'll be a bit long.
This map is brought to you by Patreon, I see.
Yes.
Patreon? Which Patreon person?
Me.
Mick.
Thanks, Mick.
Mick.
We appreciate it.
Mickey, I can link their Patreons.
It's fine. I like the map. I like these little guards. They're great.
Yeah, the guards are great. Oh, they're clickable? What? Oh, we can target them.
Oh, they're hostile?
You can target the guards.
Target them quickly! Tasha's man!
No, they have a hostile aura. They're enemies. We need to fight immediately.
we're not playing
Welcome to
Pathfinder
season
Wrath
2.
of Righteous
Welcome
anymore.
to season 2.
Just because it's
This is
red,
great. I love
it's
this.
not enemy.
Oh,
First
that's
thing that happens, we step out, it's just a shriek, and the party goes on a berserk.
That is a good point, actually. I just corrected them. They're now set to neutral, not hostile.
Alright, fine.
Okay,
That's
the
a
yellow.
step
Okay.
up.
Whew.
All right.
Whew.
Oh, good.
War
Ready
is
to kill
over.
anyone.
I actually didn't know what the dispersion thing even did to the tokens. That's interesting to know.
Yeah, they give them like an angry aura.
Yeah, color,
Like
red color,
a
yellow and
halo.
green.
Yeah. Whew. All right. Back to less chaos.
I don't think so, no.
Nah, it's permanent chaos.
It's
At
fine.
least only the beginning.
Now, as all of you make your way kind of up the stairs towards the council chamber, I do have a question though. What have your what would have your characters done over this kind of last month of like rebuilding? But what kinds of things would your character have been up to? Would you have been helping actively, or would you have been more? Or would you more just been, as it were, just enjoying the victory? Whoever wants to go
Science.
first?
Science never sleeps. Ceres has been researching. She has much to research. So much to research. So Ceres has been researching.
What has Sarah's been researching?
Well, she's got all the notes from the witch, the Blood Witch, that she's been pilfering through. She also has the Staff of Toth the Ever Frozen. That we picked up. And she is attuned to recently, or not recently. When we were attacking, she attuned to it.
Yeah.
As well as a black sending stone that we picked up as well. So yeah, those were on the list of things to check out, because they're curious, as well as like contemplating what the hell we're gonna do with Sorkai, because that place is cool.
The Blood Witch's notes have been particularly unusual for you to read through. Some of it twists your mind a little bit, just trying to understand where she's coming from, as there is equal parts to kind of her magical theorem, solid mathematical ideas or like mathematical and magical ideas that you understand, and then parts that go down what's definitely clearly blood elf philosophy.
Nothing like good old blood elf philosophy.
Well, despite what many of the humans would imagine it's probably like, most of the blood elf philosophy seems to be it very much kind of talks about a interconnectedness between kind of life and everything around it, and how that all things must repay its debts for the energy it uses. It's a
hippies
concept.
Damn hippies. Yeah. So yeah, Sarah has been researching a lot of stuff, and of course helping her young protege like hone her skills, build upon them. Level 2 now.
The young Lady Valens has certainly been improved in her abilities, becoming quite the adept, at least given her age. And I believe has even specialized now.
Yeah, 'cause she's like a wizard, wizardary. So of course.
Oh, what?
She's a fucking wizard. So she got her like special
Tradition.
God, what do they call it?
Arcane tradition.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What is
Like
she?
the focus on the school.
Is it necromancer?
Yes, we are going to bring back.
Most excellent.
I think it was abjuration, right?
Yes, Lady Valens has specialized in the school of abjuration.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. It's a fair school.
It's a decent school. You know, she was
decent school for decent people.
When I picked her up, she was looking at it, and you know what? I'm happy to let her keep her abjuration school as like the thing she do.
Yes, Ceres did not decide to push her into a different school or one of her opposing schools.
Beat her into another school.
Peter, you will do this.
You will not do any abjuration under this roof.
You will be evocation and nothing else.
Does that carry the staff of the Everfrozen wherever she goes?
Yeah. She's taking it onto almost like her own. She's very curious of it because it seems different to her.
So as you come up the stairwell, the spiral stairwells up to the council chamber floor, the guards kind of see you walk past. I suppose using it like a walking stick almost beside you.
Kind of like Saruman does with his. You know, it's not quite like you're leaning on it like Gandalf sort of did with his stave, but like walking with it, like clicks on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves a small frost-like emblem on the ground each time you do it.
It's more a sign of her power than a need to actual support.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a bitch. I'm here. Got a cool ass stick.
Have a cool ass stick. Yeah, no, fair enough.
Very well. You're the first one to arrive to the council meeting out of the PCs.
It's my little protege with me.
I suppose it's appropriate I wait out here.
Yeah, that's probably.
we need a little stool or something for her to sit on.
Oh no, there's
He's
a
like
bench. There's a bench over here. There you go.
There are seats and there are benches.
Oh, that's yeah, I suppose. Fucking hell.
You've got books to read.
There will be a test.
Oh, that's cool. I like these little buttons.
Yeah,
Are these
little
actual
buttons.
like little buttons that you can click? Oh, I can click them. That's so
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, hello everybody. So she just walks in and gives
You
everyone.
make your way into the council chamber where you see the others currently in debate. So as they see you arrive, they will look to perhaps get into their seats.
I'll go the other way. She goes to the left, around the table,
Mm.
and takes her appropriate seat. Is there like an unsnap to grid?
You can hold shift to unsnap from grid. At least I can.
Yeah. Hey man,
See
this
what's
is new.
happening.
This is new.
I'm in a corner.
Great,
I can't
love
see.
it though.
Who would like to be next?
Vickers will probably be next.
Oh, someone closed the
Um,
door behind me.
The
Oh.
guard did, yes.
As for what
This
he's
is-
been doing the past while, it's probably the first time since we started this whole shebang that he's actually had some time to not worry about threats from unseen corners, at least for now. So I think in the absence of any danger, he's actually going to take it upon himself, because it's probably going to be a very long time before he will have this time again. He is going to just take some time to himself and relax, and not do anything other than basically keeping himself abreast of Theo's training and showing him around the place. I mean, it's Frey Frost, right? And also, to be honest, as everyone will see when he arrives, is probably the most well-groomed he's ever been since the years that we've been declining. He feels like a new man, fresh and ready to go.
Good lord, he had a bath.
God.
Good lord, he did.
Is that-
Yeah.
What was Vicus's definition of like a good evening to like
To
fun and
relax. That's a good question. I think for him, it's the fact that he wants to keep an eye on everything never really leaves him. But it's not driven out of like focus to survive. It's more just a curiosity. So I think he would like to just first of all walk around and keep an eye on the goings on, and then retreat back to his quarters. And well, basically, he's now going to have to set up his own network again. And so in the quiet hours of the night to himself, he'll probably be seen writing plans to himself, plans to others, stuff like that.
Under dusty candlelight.
Yes.
Just a single small candle that illuminates dark.
It's about 2 a.m. You've been writing non-stop. Suddenly your door just kind of creaks open and you see Theo come with a cup of tea,
Thank you, Theo.
having brought it up from the kitchen downstairs for you.
He is very sweet.
His training has certainly been progressing, though. Much like Charlotte, with much time to kind of without stress going on, you've had a chance to kind of train them a little bit, and Theo has certainly been getting a little bit more confident, and with help of Sarah as well, gained a bit more access to his magical potential now. Though, as unsettling as you've realised, it might his origin powers might be.
Yes, yes. However, it's not the origin; it's how you use it. So
Yes.
hopefully.
What was the origin of his powers again?
That is for you to find out.
Better not be an aboleth.
What are you
I
talking
know.
about?
Some issues with those.
This information is scarce from my notes.
You've also been able to coax out of Theo more than just a simple telepathic communication. Though he still doesn't like speaking, you can at least get words out of him for when there's a noble around or something you need him to, be polite.
Yeah. Yes, that's good.
Still doesn't like it though.
Of course, but at least he has some way to communicate if it needs to be.
Outside just mind zapping someone.
Yeah, which unfortunately, not many nobles are educated enough to understand, nor would like that sort of thing. What's going on? So
As Vickers makes his way up towards the council chamber then.
Yes, indeed. We'll nod to the guard. I kind of look at him. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's recognized him from his walks about or whatever. But I'll give him a quick nod. And he'll open the door himself. He will not wait to be waited upon.
Very well. Theo kind of gives you a mental ping that he'll wait out here.
Yes, that's good.
As he'll go and sit with Charlotte.
I imagine Theo and Charlotte have built like a good friendship from being left outside places together.
Yeah.
That, and I imagine also that they're given that both of them are tutored in magic by you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I have asked you to help
Oh,
out Theo.
I did. 100% was like, yep, I'm doing this.
All right.
Plus, Charlotte finds his telepathy somewhat fascinating.
Mm.
Oh, also creepy, but fascinating.
I found
Yes.
with the like off grid, it's like click and then hit shift. Then it sort of works properly.
I find it works just if I hold shift beforehand as well, though.
Yeah, it was a bit funny for me.
Who would Zed like to go next? Or have the king be lost?
Yeah, sure. I can go next. I think Zed has been annoyance, a pester, really much. He have been like doing the same kind of research, looking into the blood witch thing since he got the amulet, the hardwood amulet. He wears it like under his shirt, but he doesn't like it, not like at all. But like what he's been like mainly doing, except for like soul searching, just get to other people's issues and help them with them. And like a random card looking this a thief. Okay, instead goes and turns to an animal and goes to look for this thief. Just like a random pestering things of like for everyone. Even like his apprentices, like the apprentices of other people, and for Vika sometimes just bring random notes, and for Sarah's like doing random stuff, and like for everyone just do random stuff, and just he seemed to like getting over his years, as he had not spent like 100 years for a fairy deal, and seemingly like his old habits are like really coming back of just annoying people to get into their problems to just help them with their problems. But he's very blunt about it and sometimes very annoying about it.
Zed has also certainly felt over the last month. He's felt that 100 years, suddenly.
You know, he's still young. That he told himself.
Your,
He's
your,
not young.
your hair has certainly turned a more white than it was before.
Mm.
I
And
guess
you can
like
you can feel, though they are very slight for an elf, the very slight creaks of your joints settle.
I guess for most part he's been also setting up things for Lady Misara, because he plans to help her after like everything is just like settled down, and like been setting that up. Is it good or bad? Take it or leave it. And yeah, he simply walks the hallway, walks to open the door, and hums a little bit and keeps a beat inside. I guess closing the door behind him.
Which leaves us with one last person.
Yes.
So what
Well,
has Lord Amanus Zeal been up to?
well, Amanas has mainly been available, I think. He is kind of used to now to have most of the critical business taken care of by his like court members. And so the main thing I think he has done is just kept up his training and tried to involve himself in as much of the diplomatizing and stuff that was required after the fall of the Inquisitor. Making sure that everyone actually held up their ends of the bargain. Actually, probably travel around a little bit, talk with a few different people just to smooth over any ruffled feathers, and pretty much just setting up the aftermath here. Because, big things are coming, and we need sort of to prep for that. He hasn't necessarily been plotting or sending secret missives or researching anything, but he has done his best to try to be visible and try maybe to be an inspiration like for the troops and the people that have followed him. More of a more of a like a concerned manager than like any form of like a super active research. As such, he is probably quite interested in what's up with the council because he's heard some things here and there, but will be the first like real like rundown for in a while here.
This will be the first true council meeting now.
Yeah, there's not really been need for a council meeting for a while. Everything turned into chaos anyway. With the taking out of the Blood Witch and the fall of the city. So
yeah, everyone's been trying to pick up the pieces. Probably you and Elijah have had a lot of situations of trying to get the nobility to basically acknowledge your control again.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
because they were certainly hesitant with like the Inquisition showing up on their doorstep, kicking it down, and then suddenly you showing up on the doorstep and saying you kicked them out. I'm like, what?
Yeah, kicking down the door that was already kicked down. So there's a lot of doors flying back and forth.
The nobility don't change this fast.
Yeah, exactly. And probably travel around with Lady Eliza, just trying to explain the situation, I guess.
Moreover, as well, trying to consolidate control of the mines and get the roads sorted.
Exactly. Trying to, in essence, I think he's trying to help Eliza out as much as he can, because he, the better control she has over her realm, the more she can support him. So it's a bit of a quid pro quo there. You help, I will help you as the lord of this realm that I am, and in return, as my vassal, you will help me when I need it. That's how this is how this feudalism stuff works.
Mm-hmm. You're her liege lord, so you need to support her.
Exactly. I owe it to her, and then I will cash in later. Oh yes.
as you kind of approach up through the halls. Would you be in full armor heading to a council meeting, or would you be
Yes.
dressed down? Okay.
Always in full armor and weapons. That is, he will take that off to sleep if he has to, but otherwise he is in that armor
He
quite a
does
lot.
have to take it off to sleep. No, I'm sure you keep it in the next tile over.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Anyone else would be told to disarm coming in from all that weapons.
I mean,
The guards are not going to question you.
I mean,
No.
Vicus doesn't bring any weapons in.
are
So.
they gonna take?
There it is.
Are they gonna take my
Really?
stave off of me? I don't need
No,
the
Wouldn't
stuff.
part an old lady
They-
with her
that's-
walking
they
stick,
would-
would you?
To be honest, most of the council is fine with carrying like a weapon. It's the fact that he's coming like full armored, fully geared.
Yeah. Also,
No one
Halldamir, it's
normally
not
regards
a.
this, except it's you.
Yes. Also, it's not a weapon. It's a fashion statement. Let's be clear.
It's not like I need it.
Yeah.
It's not like you could hit someone with it if you tried either.
No,
I will.
it's
I
just
will
looks
have you
good.
know, I've got 100% kill rate with my quarterstaff.
Yeah,
What's your kill rate on for each
100%
whack? I've
KP.
got 100%. Every whack has produced a
Hu-
death. I will have you
100%
know.
is very impressive. I gotta give it to you.
Come on, like.
It's like
What a statistic.
I
like-
mean, Sarah has
like-
used it once, so of course it's
It's
100%.
like-
No, twice.
I see.
freaking Kelvin Black stuff up in here. Like,
Obviously, with the council, you're giving Molly away anyway. They allow Mizara to carry in one of her rapiers.
Yeah.
But if she showed up with 5 magical rapiers, they might get rather worried.
right. I
Like,
mean,
why do you need 5 of them for a council meeting?
I mean, Ceres wakes up and puts mage armor on, like. That's like the routine.
Regardless, though, they're not. They don't bat an eyelid. I think everyone's just seen Amnes just always. No one has ever seen Amnes without armor. At least not as civilians haven't.
no, like the armor is what he wears.
We have
So.
in the
We've seen
ditch
him without
next to
armor.
the tavern.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like you have seen him in all manner of
In a
situations.
pool of his
debauchery,
own
yeah.
bodily fluids.
Oh yeah, no, it was you wish he had armor on.
I mean,
Well,
I don't know
there's
if I would for that. It would be pitch to lean the armor at first.
Oh,
That's true.
God.
A bit of a lag here. There we go. Oops. And then what you said, shift to
Yeah.
snap out.
Yeah, you can hold
Yeah.
to go out of grid.
Hmm.
So click and then hold shift.
Yeah,
Oh,
see
like
it.
that.
Amanas will walk in, the clicking and clanging of the armor muted by the carpet, and then pick it up again as he moves over the planks or tiled floors, hard to say. And then he'll sweep his cape to the side in a fairly practiced. Maybe that's what he's practiced, sitting down in a cape. Yeah, and then he'll sit down, put down the magical great sword, leaning to the side, so he can grip the pommel of it as he, sits on the throne, looking at the table.
The jet black great sword, always just humming with a little bit of arcade energy.
Yeah, I need a good scabbard for that. I feel maybe I can get something commissioned.
One thing that since the Battle of Sorkai, Ceres took a little while before she started speaking to the king. After his calling on her oath to him, she retreated a little bit, interacting for a while. After some time, has gone back to her usual self.
Amanas won't even bring up or recognize that he pulled rank. Like for him, it's something natural, and in his mind, he stopped one of his vassals from doing something ill-advised. So he is absolutely confident that he acted completely right.
Mm-hmm.
He will sit down. He will grip the pommel of the sparkling great sword with his gauntleted fist, and then he will look to his left. He will look to his right, and then he will do a sweeping motion with his free hand to indicate that the proceedings can start.
Ryden nods as he almost very dryly as he begins to speak. And taking notes for today's proceedings. The first day of planting, 11:55 AR. Preliminary council meeting begins. Floor to be taken by Makara. Ryden literally seems to be taking notes. He's taking minutes for this meeting.
That's good. It's good.
Secretary.
Oh,
Also,
it feels
there's,
like a
like-
regular meeting again.
There's like an actual calendar thing on the
Yes,
left.
there is a calendar available to you all. This is like, it's not 100% working, there's some glitches on it, but it works enough for your purposes. That you can see if you're on the left-hand top left of your screen, there'll be a button for calendar.
Oh yeah.
You can see it's the third planting right now.
Oh yeah. It's
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's storm season.
this is cool. I like this.
So cool.
First
right?
time.
That's awesome.
Where are you going to see it?
So it's on the buttons from Foundry. So if you click on the person on the top left, and then at the very bottom of the second menu is calendar.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not on the map. It's like the
As time
As
goes on, we'll be adding additional things in there.
Yeah.
cool.
As obviously seen, the current time is currently 11:30 in the morning.
All right. Cool. All right.
Oh, as it's so like midday, I imagine Ceres actually has like a couple books and scrolls that she's like planted on the table. She's brought with her.
Of course.
Doesn't want Charlotte to go perusing through just yet. Sure, she will.
Makara smiles. It's almost like sharp, icy smile towards Ryden for a moment. Well, to all of you, it's good to see you all. It's been a short while since we cleared the city of those beasts. But with the situation calming, we have all been in discussion, trying to decide what to do about my people's ruins. And she pauses for a moment as Mizara actually speaks at this point. How we're going to avoid the political shit show that is Lady Eliza swearing fealty to you instead of, well, who the Empire expects.
There's a slight quirk at the side of the mouth for Amenas at the word shit show. Appreciate it.
Ceres is nodding. Like, yeah, it's like closes her eyes and nods. Like,
Very sagely. Yes, shit
absolute
show.
shit show, yeah.
Incredible shit show.
100% shit show.
Your council is fully aware of how dangerous a situation it's just a situation you're currently in.
Yes.
Yep.
Trident looks over. We have until we're forced to a coronation. Maybe 13 weeks. Which is not as long as it sounds, given everything that we might need to do. Actually, planning the coronation, most of which we can get arranged. That's not the hard part, but assuming we don't want the Empire to come down on top of us for this, or at least the Duke not to, we need to, I don't know what, we need to do something to stop this. He looks over towards the ladies across the desk. We've been discussing, and, well, the best option we've all come up with is Sorkai. That is the only way we're going to survive this. Makara has that icy grin again as she looks towards Amanus.
As it looks back at her.
We have two problems. You have no allies among your own people or outside. And Freyfrost's resources are not vast. If we are to have any chance of getting through this upcoming storm, we need to make your opposition think otherwise. We do not need to actually have enough resources to stop them.
You
Well-
propose we bluff our position to the Radiant Crown?
Let me propose this. If you are a southern lord, and then suddenly one of your realm suddenly swear fealty to an unknown lord who seems to have the backing of one of the silvery. She ends up using the elven word for high elf here, which doesn't really make sense to most of you, but of course to Zed and Ceres it does.
I imagine Ceres like whispers to Amanas like the translation.
Oh, I also speak Elvish too.
And who have not been seen by your kind for a century, and who your people know can have magic to wipe out cities. Would that not give hesitation?
If we give them pretense of them knowing nothing of what we can provide, then yes, they would be wary. It would be foolish even to assume you know everything about an unknown power with unknown allies.
If we can control Sorkai and install just a token population, at least, enough to make the city look used, the enemy will assume that you have the backing of the Northern Elves. Then they will be hesitant to act against you or Eliza.
Of course, giving us more time to actually secure more resources and allies.
Ryden then speaks up. Moreover, the northern areas I've done some surveying with it the best I can. There's a lot of resources up there if we can get it. Plenty of logging areas, veins of mana crystals, and we believe even veins of mithril.
Nods
And
and looks around.
Sorkai must have had some form of farming capability to be able to cope with the harsh conditions.
Mikara frowns a little. Yes, my people had methods for farming in the extreme cold. Sadly, I am not a farmer.
We have briefly discussed what to do with Sorkai, and also where to move whatever parts of our troops that remains and will not return to service in Freyfrost. Do we actually, I will ask DDS here, do we have an estimate, like how many of the troops that we commanded are actually like troops that we could keep using? Because I imagine a lot of them were levies and similar things that are going back to just their normal lives.
Correct.
And a lot of them probably are loyal to Freyfrost and not directly to the Ashen Court. But after all, the displays of power and prowess, maybe we do have a small contingent of followers that would actually follow us.
It's true. You don't have a lot of forces. You have maybe 300 men who you could rally under a war banner,
Yeah.
but not
And-
much more than that right now. You don't have the infrastructure outside of what Lady Eliza's own castle can provide to house them.
And would 300 troops roughly be enough to make an impression of activity in Sorakai?
300 troops, you could certainly put up a facsimile of having like a proper defense up there.
Yeah.
Put them, given the way Sorakai is, man the watchtowers, man the walls. You could probably fool someone as long as no one gets too close.
That's the thing. If they get too close, then there's no women and children. There's no life in Sorakai.
But I imagine our troops and whatnot have families, many of them. So what I would propose then is we claim it. Like the Ashen Court claims Sorakai and use that as our base of operations.
The council is in agreement. That is what they probably think is the best route here as well.
Because that way, we also get out of the hair of Lady Eliza. We don't interfere too much with her rule, and allows her to, rule her realm as it is supposed. And the capital, so to speak, of the new realm is still Sorakai. Like we become sort of like a city-state, a Washington D.C., if you will.
Sure.
Like just a small place where most of the rulership hangs out.
And it also works in a way that until this gamut has run its course and the crown is like, oh, maybe we shouldn't go against them. If we're not seen associating too closely with Lady Eliza, then there's still doubt there up until the coronation, which is what we want. We don't want them to discover essentially our ties until we want them to know.
Yeah.
So moving ourselves elsewhere is probably one of the best things we can do for that.
Because we are rather hot potatoes to have
Yes.
sitting around in one's cabin.
We're not good people to have around in peacetime. That's for sure.
Especially since we are, not usurpers, but we are pretenders to the throne.
Yeah.
And officially, you're supposed to be dead or in exile. One of the two.
Yeah. Exactly. So claiming Sorakai then seems to be in agreement.
I would agree with that proposal, yes.
Your council kind of looks between each other. Dryden will speak up. We've already tried figuring out the logistics of doing it, and to be honest, it gives me a headache. It's doable. It is definitely doable, but it's not going to be easy.
So
perhaps then you could lay out what are the significant roadblocks you've run into? What can we help with?
Well, while the city's in good shape, there's just fundamental issues. Firstly, access. We need to get the road built up to there. If we're actually going to transport any meaningful amount of anything, we need the roads and watchtowers to be repaired and restored.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, that's a major expense on our treasury. Moreover, we need to somehow source enough mana crystals to power everything if we're wanting to actually activate those wards to keep the city warm enough for life. I think I know a place to get some of it, but again, it's resources.
I guess not.
Mikara then speaks up. Moreover, the wards will need a capable mage to manipulate and reboot them.
Looks over to Lady Mikara.
Of course, I would be more than capable of performing this, but it will mean that I will be occupied for some time.
Amanas like glances over to Ceres, but unless she does any move to the contrary, he will probably nod at Mikara. That seems a worthy task for her talents.
Yeah, Ceres would agree.
Mazara speaks up. Fundamentally, the biggest issue is tallying up all the costs. This would drain almost our entire treasury if we were to do this.
And we need a way to shore up some more.
I do know there's a couple of, well, more precisely, we've gotten a couple of petitioners who wish to actually speak to the new Lord of the Realm about ventures to earn more capital. With your permission, when we hold our official meeting, which will actually be tomorrow, do I have permission to bring along these petitioners?
Nods. Yes, that seems fine.
They're mostly wealthy nobles, merchants, that sort of thing, but they should prove useful.
We have a fair, I would say, connection with at least the most of the local lords, I think. So hopefully the negotiations will be favorable.
Raiden then speaks up some more. With that as well, I also try to actually drag my sister here for the official meeting.
Yeah, probably good.
It's been difficult, though, to pin her down, as I'm sure you've seen.
She has a lot ahead of her.
Not that she needed to be here for this. The magical subjects are not something she really had interest in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Amanas nods. Very well. We will proceed with the project to claim Sorakai, and the Ashen Court will move its operations there at the earliest convenience. Clearing and building roads and restoring guard towers and gates, etc., certainly is the job of a quartermaster, and not so much swinging a sword. But I am sure you, Lord Raiden, will have most of this well in hand.
Raiden nods. I will get the full details together for tomorrow's meeting.
Wonderful.
There's then a slight smirk from Mizara as the other two seem to stand up their way out of the meeting. She seems to just stay seated, waiting for the others to go.
Yep.
As she looks over, hand on her rapier at her hip, but she stays seated. She gently taps it. And of course, I'm sure you've not all forgotten the deal we made.
I have, actually.
No, I, at least, remember.
Who is this charlatan? Throw her out.
Your mission is, well, something that we agreed to help you with.
And, as you have agreed to help me with that, for the time being, and assuming you keep your word, I will support your counsel in whatever endeavours you deem you want my aid in.
It's nuts.
But do understand, these matters can't wait forever.
No, I assure you, before the lead goes cold, we will aid you.
She nods, and she'll stand. Then I bid you all a fair day. I will see you all at tomorrow's meeting.
Same to you.
So, I guess we'll wait for her to leave and then turn and say, you will remember that we helped Mizara find, well, damn it, now my brain's blanking. I know what I want to say.
He's hunting the assassins.
The Assassin's Guild, yes. That, presumably, and we have practically evidence to know that they basically killed her family. or were contracted to. And so we discovered on our last excursion that whoever paid for this to be done was sent from which duchy? Was it the rabbit one or the
Yes, it was
port?
it
The
was
port?
from the Rabbit Duchy, Duchy of the Silver Isles.
Yes, the
Some
port
some port.
Swiftwing, I believe. Yes. And so we said we'd help her if she helped us in kind.
And she's been keeping her end of the bargain. So.
So
I'm sure we can head out and help her out.
We need to go that way anyway for our diplomacy efforts.
Yeah.
I think that's where we were turning our heads to.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
I will be helping her even if you don't. I find it very interesting to be part of this revenge blood.
I see.
Nicholas laughs and says, "Oh, it's not just a revenge plot." Said, "I'm sure you know, but we're going to be entering the spider's den once we enter the port."
Come with the spider and eat all the things in there.
Spider, you say?
But I do land to put some of my weight down for her.
Well,
Even if I don't technically have any weight in here. I'm just
I
an
mean,
old grumpy man.
you're light as an old elf, but you still have some weight in your words.
The the Soraka is an interesting opportunity, to be sure. I am cognizant that it is the best solution to our current problem, but as a long time or long perspective solution, I am more skeptical. The place is very remote,
we'll have to
and
move our base of operations south as we move south.
yes,
Far too north.
the city is impressive and sports incredible magical capabilities, no doubt. But as a capital, it is far away. It's he sort of shifts a little bit in his armor. If the Frey Frost were to turn against us, they could effectively starve us out within a few months. No problem. They would just close the
Not
roads.
that
And,
easy. That is not that easy.
well, they couldn't get to us, but
Yeah,
they can just block the roads.
That is why I would see to it that it is as self-sufficient as it can manage in the shortest amount of time. There has to be a way to farm in the frigid north. The elves have managed for millennia.
I have a ritual that can aid on the task.
You won't be around forever, Zed. This
Yes. If I do the ritual, it will last for a year.
All
It is
right.
a starting thing that will enhance the nature and the growing of the crops. But
Okay.
it is for the smaller area, so it has to be contained in some form.
Well, I would see Sorkai be self-sufficient for decades, centuries.
But this is for the short term.
A short term, a year will certainly help.
Amanda nods towards Zed and says, that is fantastic news. Your druidic powers will be invaluable, as always. If we can start producing food up there with your help, we would be in a much better position. And we would not be able to be choked out as easily.
It will make it easier, but there are chances it can fail if the crops cannot, grow naturally in there.
That's
so,
the problem. But
maybe grow some potatoes. They are really hardy.
Amanda taps the table a little bit and says, there was climate control of a sort, or do I misremember this?
there's a way of heating the whole city, and I feel as if there is a way to heat the surrounding land, perhaps. If not already in place, perhaps it can be altered and improved to face outwards as well. Perhaps clear an area near the city that can be farmed. But I do not know until I am there. Until we can see the wards.
With time, it certainly will become a useful asset, but for now, Sorkai is our gambit to give us more time
So,
against the crown.
what do we ideally do then to stop the well, my dear my dear inheritor from turning her majestic gaze north and just crushing us?
So my first thought, well, there are two thoughts that come to mind. One is political, more resource orientated. The other is more militaristic. So to our west, we have the earldom of Reichhold, who is led by Ander Reinhardt, who is the cousin to the Duke that sent the forces of the Inquisition, or sent forces with the Inquisition. However, the Duke did not stop the Inquisitor's forces from trashing Reichhold lands. So Ander Reinhardt sent money to Mayor Rochelle to fund the anti-inquisitorial security that she had in place over the city she had. He could be a potentially strong ally to have against his cousin, who has scorned him in this way. Good diplomatic ties, and of course, further west is the Port Duchy, that I have not gained that much intelligence on. And then, of course, to the east, we have the marchlands of Durdevel and the Viscount Grismere, who has a orc problem at the moment, but is a marshland that has stood the test against two large empires. The High Duchy having fended off two large empires from its west, the Radiant Crown, to its east, I forget the empire's name. But he would be the militaristic aid if we could help him, though how I do not know. He also, Sarah turns to Zed, his lands has a decent number of wood elf tribes that wander.
So I have heard.
But
I haven't been in connection with long of them, but I might know some of them.
He even offers them special campgrounds when they need it around the deep winter months.
Let me think, since I don't have the world map in front of me. I'm trying to remember, but Freyfrost is who is the overlord of Freyfrost? Because Freyfrost is just a small duchy, like of a larger area, right?
Freyfrost is just an earldom. Obviously, that's now controlled by Lady Eliza.
Yeah.
Its liege should be Duke Salcine Reinhardt. They had the bear emblem before.
Yeah.
And then to yourself, ruling the Duchy of Great Elsend.
Yes. And what other earldoms are part of the Greater Duchy?
There are two others.
Yeah.
There is Reichhold.
Yeah.
And there's another one called Pinewood further to the south.
Okay. Yeah, because to
No,
me,
you've not really had access. You have to go through the Duke's land to get there from where you are.
but it does then seem to me that Reichhold is indeed our best move forward, because if the cousin is not looking too favorably upon his rulership, and actually funded a resistance movement to him allowing inquisitorial troops through, it gives us a pretty good in. And if we can get Reichhold on our side, then suddenly the Great Duchy is split in half. And at that point, we are in a pretty good position to negotiate and talk to the Count, right? And perhaps even get him on our side if we can show that it benefits him and he is a reasonable person. At least if half my realm suddenly just changed allegiance, I would be quite interested to see why that was and maybe strike some sort of deal.
Yeah, I mean, that was my assessment of the information we have.
Yeah,
That
we
Reichhold is a
basically
good place.
we basically steal his vassals from out under him.
I mean, you've
And
already
then he
stolen.
would, yeah, and then he would have no support and no platform to stand on. He would basically have to submit.
Hostile takeover in a sense.
Yes, I would preferably him, come on his own volition because he makes a more loyal vassal that way. But if
Yes.
this is the way to do it, then we will do it this way. And maybe it's time for him to go. If he is too obstinate, maybe we get rid of him and place someone else there.
It's also the duchy that the port is under, like the Silver Isles.
Yes.
We don't know much about it, but we are going there, so it might be worth to investigate. Considering that there's like an assassin guild or someone there that has paid an assassin guild to do stuff, maybe there's some unrest there that we can untangle and get some support from.
Yeah.
Moreover, it's a power. It's one of the best trade connection locations in the upper region.
Yeah.
For you.
It's
that is
one of the best ways to sort out our allies and resources problems in one fell swoop if we can get that to work for us.
Yeah,
If
I completely agree.
If I remember rightly, there's one earldom in between Reichhold and the Port Duchy,
Right.
which I think was owned by which is part of the duchy, but I think.
I mean,
that was,
you've got basically what you've got is you've got Freyfrost. Adjacent to it is Reichhold, and the other side of that would be the Duchy of the Silver Isles. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like
She controls quite a lot of land, though, given she controls a lot of like outset islands in the cold waters. So
Yeah.
The thing is, if we can get Reichhold and if we could get the port area to support us, and then go to the Duke, and we'll be like, hey, we control a fair bit up here. Maybe you need to deal with us, and then we get him on our side, either by killing him off, replacing him, or him swearing fealty. Then we have a decent chunk in the north all of a sudden. And with the Empire gearing up for war in the south, most of their attention is down there. So much of this can probably be handled without too much notice from down south.
and then by the time they notice,
we have a big chunk, and they would be like, oh shit, but we're in war down here. We don't have troops to pull, it's when.
Yeah. And it's also like they're like, we actually don't know now what we're against because everything has changed.
And something Amulet would also know is if you could get control of the Duke's land, and you got allied by the Duchy of Silver Isles, that means both major entrances past the most major ways past the what's called the Silver Mountains.
Yeah.
Which is the main mountain that kind of separate the northern provinces from the southern provinces. You'd have all control ways through that then.
Right. We will control the access to our lands.
The only other way by boat, but as I said, you've got the port.
Yeah. That's great.
So
it seems we have our initial like spearhead in
Yeah.
terms of diplomacy.
we
And
have our opening moves.
I'm
Duke,
going.
obviously, right, as you're rightly assessed, the Duke is not going to easily the Duke to the south is not easily going to turn without you putting a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try keep up good relations with the Viscount to our east, because I don't want the High Duchy to maybe see us as a good weak opportunity to take land.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I mean, you've already done a lot of good legwork diplomacy-wise before this, so like,
And
the
it's
key.
gonna help.
And of course, as your council was pointing out, at least the unknown the unknown ally that is the ice elves will at least help keep people cautious for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we need, and we do need to try to. It is preferable in situations like this when we are in a position of weakness to basically do this with as much tact and finesse as we can. And by that I mean, if we can actually make these people like us and support us because we have been, supportive of them and shown our competency, that would be the best. Because Lady Eliza, she she actually swore, and fealty to Amanas, like straight. She forgot all about her supposed allegiances, and she did that because we had proven ourselves to be incredibly useful and helpful to her and her cause. So that gives us a real ally that will speak out against the Duke, saying like, no, these guys are actually really good.
Yeah.
And if we can get more people doing that, the Duke might also stay his hand and not just send like all of his court mages to assassinate us, because it'll be like, well, if I do that, these people are well liked. It'll be a PR disaster.
Yeah.
He is the guy that has like a weird affinity, like he collects mages.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you would also Amnos would actually know, given you've Amnos now had plenty of time to kind of refresh himself on like politics.
Yeah.
His favorite war strategy is Mage Alpha Strike.
Yeah,
He tends to win a war by just simply blowing up the entire enemy fortifications with mages before they have a chance to realize what happened.
It's the thing. If you actually have war mages, that's what makes Cormyr so incredibly dangerous. They have like units of mages that just show up and throw fireballs. Like, what do you do against that?
He has enough mages and apprentices that he could actually form them into being a army unit for the purpose of battle.
Yeah. Which is very scary.
One unit of mages doesn't sound like a lot, but it's dangerous.
I think I had like, I think there was like an oddly high percentage of mages in his dukedom and an oddly low percent of mages in his surrounding earldoms because he collects them.
Yes, correct. It's been a long known policy of his that whenever he's found individuals of high magical talent within his dukedom, or any of his vassals' dukedoms, that he invites them with like with lavish amounts of gold and like, look, I'll have you live in luxury inside my wizard's towers.
So does he just have them because he likes that? Like, is there Wizard Academy? Like, does he run Hogwarts or something, or does he just have them all locked into a tower, pretty much?
He's known to have built a rather extensive kind of magical compound.
Yeah.
Where he apparently where he does train mages.
Yeah.
And he's known himself to dabble in the arcane arts publicly, which is
that's certainly
like, it's not unheard of for nobility to do it, but usually they don't flaunt it the same way he does.
Yeah. Okay. Useful ally to have, that's for sure.
Downside though is the result is though he has a very high population of mages given the size of his area.
Yeah.
He's taken a careful goal to cultivate them and and to train them.
It sounds
wait. That makes me think of something though, because if he has so many mages in one place, he needs a huge amount of mana crystals to keep them up going.
He does, yes.
So maybe that's a sore point that we can pressure him on, if we can somehow find out where he's getting those.
Yeah, exactly. Or we could be like, well, we are currently sitting on the biggest mine, in the north.
That's true, actually. Oh,
maybe it can be some sort of interesting deal here. You can keep ruling and doing exactly what you do. It's just,
You would be aware that most mana crystals are typically mined by the dwarven clans, because dwarves tend to have a resistance to a sickness that tends to come from them.
Dwarves,
yes.
And
bring Bronze Shadow Shield at once.
The blight tends to burn most people quite badly, as any mage in your court will tell you.
Yeah,
and
Dwarves can be quite resistant to it, meaning they are generally safer mining it than humans are. But
there's like a dwarven hold east of the Duke's lands, right?
Yes, there is, and that's actually, you do know that's a decent place where quite a bit goes from. It's actually, in fact, Shattershield Hall.
Yeah, and north of Shattershield Hall was where the orcs were attacking the Viscount's lands.
I see opportunity.
Yep.
It's, of course, there are many dwarven holds around, but you know it is certainly the closest dwarven hold by far.
Yeah, if you can solve that dwarf problem for them, they might give us exclusive rights to their mana crystals. You know, first purchase, and then we're like, well, Duke, that's too bad. We purchased 50% of all the mana crystals already.
We
That's
purchased 50% of the
the-
share, 51% of
Yeah.
the shares in the mana
If-
mining
Yeah,
company.
exactly. We have all the shares in Mana Corp.
If you're going for the civilization economic victory, you're going to need far more money.
Yeah, we need money. So speaking of which, perhaps we should let the day run by and see what they can.
Go plundering is what I hear.
We'll have to get our meeting tomorrow.
See what the council
Oh.
has to offer.
Nice.
In game, as you'll see on the calendar as well, a council meeting and a result one turn of the council is 2 weeks, and you'll see every single
Okay.
you'll see on a council every 2 weeks there is a meeting scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There is also a meeting scheduled on the festival weeks, which occur at the end of each season.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll find as you go through the calendar, there's always one every 2 weeks scheduled on there. That is how the timescale of your council will work. It's every 2 weeks will count as a turn for the council.
Okay.
Some things might take more than a turn, but the point is that is a turn.
Right. Okay.
At the start of on the first council meeting of every month, you can choose to reorganize your council. So if you want to kick people off your council or hire new people, you can do it at the start of every month. You can do that.
Okay.
If you so deem. Funny enough, it's the start of the month. So the first thing we'll be doing is assigning, at least as it currently stands, your council. Now, to do this, we'll start with the PCs, because obviously I wrote about this in chat as well, and we can go through each of the council roles as well, discussing like what they actually mean and what they actually do. But on your council, there is a total of 16, technically 17 positions that you can only really have 16 filled. Because Chaplain and Seer are mutually exclusive. So
Yes.
Each of the council roles can be filled by either a PC or an NPC. And obviously they fulfill different duties for your land. And all the different council edicts will require, generally speaking, one of those roles to do it, or possibly multiple. Sorkai is an example that requires multiple roles to do, so have fun with that.
Right.
Now, obviously, I've already assigned Amnis to his position.
Yeah.
Because I'm fairly sure, Amnis, you're choosing that your position on the court is the ruler of the court. You are the monarch, the king.
Yes.
The big cheese of the operation. But we'll run through each of the other ones for the viewer's sake as well as your sakes, for kind of what they represent. On the top row, we have the ruling set. These four positions at the very top. I don't know if you can see my drawing. I'm doing the ruler.
Yes. Okay.
These four at the top here, you'll always have access to these no matter what. Though, of course, obviously they have certain implications to them. Because obviously you have the ruler who is in charge, it's the king. The consort who would be their partner, the queen, their ruling couple. The heir, which is, of course, either whoever Amnis eventually has as a child, or whoever Amnis designates to be the heir of the kingdom, his successor. And then the advisor, the advisor is mostly an honorary position, but you assign it in, and in the event that you are completely indisposed, and your consort and heir are indisposed, the advisor will take over. The
Like a vice ruler.
The advisor tends to have the advisor also can act as regent, basically.
Okay.
The advisor doesn't have the most power and doesn't have the most actions they can perform in the court, though they can still perform some actions. But it's a relatively low power position, except for the fact that you act as regent in the event that everyone else is indisposed.
Right.
Which still is important. The top four, the only position that's required on the top row is ruler. You don't need a consort, you don't need an heir, you don't need an advisor, but you always have the choice to fill those if you want to, and they don't go against the council's size. You can always have them. There's no penalty to having them there.
Okay.
In case of, of course, if Amnis ever dies, not having an heir will be fun. Or he dies and you can't resurrect him. Then we get into the actual council positions. One of which is crossed out, but we'll still go through it. You have the steward. The steward is in charge of construction for your lands. He's in charge of development, construction, your private holdings. The steward, pretty uniquely, his main thing is building stuff. If you have a big project that requires building something, the steward will almost always have the option to be one of the people doing it. That's typically what the steward's involved in. It's either developing your lands, improving them, or just building more shit for your lands. Having a steward is useful. Not essential, but definitely useful to have if you want to build stuff.
So like clearing the roads and restoring connection to Sorakai would be a steward thing?
It could be a steward thing, yes. Right. The same thing could go if you say wants to build a hospital. The steward could do that, or probably another role might be able to do that as well, but the steward would have the option because they are the steward.
Yeah.
Right.
The marshal. The marshal was in charge of your military. If it's your military and it's not on a boat, it's the marshal's job to coordinate the military, train them, sort out your forces, and basically ensure you have a defense force. Not technically mandatory, but if you go to war, you're going to really damn want one. And obviously, if you're wanting to do any military style like missions, having a marshal is very, very important.
Yeah.
But it's a role that's fairly simple. It's the head of your military, essentially speaking, outside of Amnis. But Amnis is not spending his everyday training the troops. The Admiral. The Admiral's job is maintaining your fleets and maintaining, the crew of your fleets. It's a role that focuses largely on more than knowledge, more than combat ability. I think you can see on each of them, they each have the icon representing like their best stat in the background.
Yep.
The Admiral's job, of course, is to maintain your fleets and also patrol your waters. This also includes patrolling your waters against piracy if you're doing trade. So obviously, Admiral can be rather important if you get a port. Right now, you can't fill the Admiral role. You're landlocked. So, I guess you could have an Admiral, but it's going to be for fishing boats and not much else. Not particularly useful. The Magister. The Magister is in charge of arcane developments. If it's a magical issue in your realm that is not purely based on the gods, it's probably the Magister's purview to deal with. This includes occult research, looking into magical artifacts, crafting particularly powerful magical artifacts, as well as potentially training mages if you ever decide to get a mage core. Though, good luck, that's going to be a long time before you can get that. The Magister, of course, is also generally in charge of helping ration out the mana crystal supply in the event that you don't have enough of them. Given, typically they'll be the person who's controlling the stash of them. The Treasurer's job. It's pretty simple. The Treasurer is mostly involved in taxation and finance. The Treasurer themselves doesn't tend to be the best at doing missions and doing your objectives for you. There are some they can definitely do, especially when it comes to certain trade events and stuff like that. They're quite good. But the Treasurer's main thing is they help generate money for the court. Simply having a Treasurer on the court will increase your monthly income by 1 for every realm you control, for every star they have. For example, you see Raiden has 1 star. So for every single realm you control, Raiden would give 1 extra money per turn. If you had 2 realms such as Sorkai and Frey Frost, it would be 2 extra gold per turn, and so on. So having a treasury is just good for extra money, as well as trade agreements. The consul is in charge of your internal politics, from dealing with the peasants to dealing with your mayors and local nobles. They are the person in charge of your PR developments and in charge of basically just ensuring that your peasants are happy. They'll often be involved in many festivals, in helping run them, as well as just helping deal with the day-to-day concerns, such as, the peasant who's complaining that the boundary's not quite right on his farmland with his neighbour. They may seem like trivial matters, but they're important for keeping your people happy and keeping everything kind of stable. The diplomat. They are in charge of your foreign relations. Is it a deal involving another empire? Or a deal dealing with your neighbours? The diplomat is probably important. They may also be quite useful with dealing with your vassals as well. The diplomat will also help maintain envoys to your various contacts throughout the world. I don't think I really need to go into detail on why a diplomat's important. I think you guys pretty have that under wraps. Why that's important. The spy master. The spy master is in charge of keeping their finger on the pulse of the underground, on all the spies and, generally speaking, all the criminal activity of your realm, and to utilize it where you require, as well as helping safeguard you against enemy spies trying to look into your business. The spy master, while not always, the spy master may not always have a direct edict to do. Having a spy master can be rather vital if you want to avoid issues, especially if you're ever worried about assassination. They're kind of your last line of defense against that.
Yeah.
And also your first line of defense, to be honest. The Sage. The Sage is in charge of educational matters, learning, education, and research that is of the non-magical nature for your realm. This can include educating the populace, building hospitals. This could be simply having libraries up. The Sage is important for a number of matters, as well as research projects in general. There are many research projects that, while maybe magical, would also require a deep amount of history education. The Sage overall has many uses, though maybe not the best for economics. They're good for development, which obviously can be rather important in its own right. The Warden is in charge of your guards, including the guards of your palace and royal estates if you have any, as well as keeping laws and internal security. They are the master of your judges. Day-to-day court rulings, the local guards enforcing laws, the various checkpoints where goods are being done at your borders. This is the Warden's job to deal with. While a Warden is not vital, having a Warden greatly helps in keeping your internal security and keeping crime down. Finally, you have the Chaplain and Seer. They're an interchangeable role. They are in charge of religious affairs and traditions throughout your realm. The major difference between them, it becomes to what kind of faith the individual taking the court is. Is the head of your kind of chief religious advisor that of a very well organized faith, such as the Radiant Church, or are they of something more like a tribalistic faith, something like the Skoldia have, where they worship their pantheon of small little spirit gods? Both are relevant, though you typically can't have both on your council at the same time. You pick one or the other to be the representative for your faith. Though they can still deal with the other one's matters, but it does make a difference. The Chaplain is obviously better at diplomatic sides of religious affairs. The Seer often has access to more unusual rituals for the magical agenda. Take that as you will. But they're both equally useful to their respective things. On the top right of the Ashen Court, you will see there is your current treasury, which is 250 build points, and you have a total income of 4 build points per turn. It's not a lot of income. You thankfully have quite a bit backlogged, but you mostly have to thank Raiden and the fact you didn't blow up the city for that.
Thanks, Raiden.
You also have an Unrest of 2. Unrest is, essentially speaking, your people being generally disorganized, unhappy, and a bit of a bother. This, obviously speaking, recently you've had a civil war here, essentially speaking.
Yeah.
Many people's homes were destroyed in the northern part of the Freyfrost city. People aren't the happiest. Some unrest is fine, but unrest will impose a penalty on dice rolls I'm making for what that are being made by yourselves and for the NPC councillors. You generally want to keep it low. If unrest ever reached -10, well, at that point, essentially, you're going to be a ruler in exile because your peasants are not going to be listening to you anymore. Actually, no one's going to be listening to you anymore. Don't ever let it get that low. If you keep executing people, it will keep dropping them.
True.
People don't tend to like a tyrant.
No.
Lastly, you have the court size. Currently, you can have a maximum of 4 NPC advisors in addition to the PCs on your council. As you grow and as you continue to build more infrastructure, you'll have the ability to keep expanding your court until eventually you have all 16 slots available to staff. At this time, though, your council is restricted to 4. you simply don't have enough kind of resources going around to have a giant bureaucracy.
Right.
You can't manage that many ongoing projects. That then leads me to a few last points before we assign council positions. In the bottom right, you have a little section called retainers. These aren't. These are essentially, you can think of them as assistants for your court. Retainers can provide a passive bonus to missions you send your councillors on, as long as the retainer is appropriate for the kind of mission in question. You currently have 2 retainers. One of them is Persephone, the Fantabulous, and the other one is one recruited by Halldamir, actually.
Oh.
If Halldamir wants to say more about them, Halldamir can, but...
Yeah, I mean, she's a lesser noble lady that helped me put pressure on the nobles of Freyfrost to put pressure on the Duke, so that he retreated, pulled his support from the Inquisition. She was a key helper in that scenario.
Nice.
She's very cunning, and she's more the type to not so much blackmail, but have the dirty laundry of the nobility.
You know the idea of like the gossip circle person shaming everyone in because of their outfits and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's her.
She is the kind of the expert at doing that and pressuring nobles through social pressure.
I see, the harpy,
great.
yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Hence her nickname, the Harpy.
I really like her. So
Oh, I bet.
Also, if anyone in the council ever needs to get a currently in-style outfit for the current season, go speak to her.
yes.
Maybe.
That may actually be useful if you're going to diplomatic events. Just keep that in mind.
Yes, Vickers, you should definitely get.
As long as she doesn't faint when she sees me, it's fine.
The only downside is when you have retainers on court, retainers will cost you income passively to upkeep. That's the one downside of retainers. But as I said, you can assign them on your council's missions to give them bonuses, including your own missions. You go on. For more information, retainers can. Here's also a little pop-up on retainers.
Oh, nice.
It's not. It's basically what I just explained, though. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Great.
And of course, at the bottom you see the current apprentices to the court. Right now, they can't do much for your court. Once they reach at least level 3, they'll start getting council stats of their own and can then assist you as PCs with your jobs.
They're like
Awesome.
our children, Valky.
They are children. He was a child.
Yeah, once they reach level 3, you can then assign them a council stat, though it has to be one that matches their affinity.
Yeah.
Then they can support you on things based on that.
Okay.
With that in mind, though, Team PC, where are all of you being assigned?
Well, Spymaster for me. That's
Yeah.
just a given, I think.
So mine was...
How many positions can one character have?
One character can only have a single position on the court.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, while you don't have your entire court filled, someone can, kind of do the other roles, but they won't be doing it to the proper effectiveness because you just don't have the time to be doing that, and your normal other duties as well.
Yeah, we'll put Raiden as the
Steward,
treasurer.
right? Treasurer? Steward?
Treasurer. We need a treasurer.
It's income versus construction.
Yeah, we
Right.
need money.
I need money, I
That's
guess.
our problem.
Yeah, right now, that would increase your income by 1 to 5 build points per turn. Obviously, a 25% increase, what you got right now.
That's better. I mean, doing it early is good, right, for the month, so yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
So
And of course, you as PCs can assign yourselves wherever you want to. So Vickers wants to go into being Spymaster.
Yes.
yeah.
I can't move myself. That was
It's fine, I will move Vickers into Spymaster position.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, Sarah sort of fits both, like Magister and Diplomat, but
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Mikara can hold the Magister's position,
Yes.
Right. While she's doing
I'll-
the Sorkai stuff, right? For the
Yeah.
month.
and I'll take the Diplomat position.
Of course, you can also see the NPC stats, and you can see Mikara's main stat is just magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be kind of foolish not to have her. Like,
So Ceres wants to be diplomat.
While we have her, we might as well use her to the best of her ability.
As a reminder for Team PC, if you look inside the group chat in one of the pinned things, or just
Just
scroll through a bit,
stats.
there's what the stats. It's what these stats mean for you as PCs and what your matching thing would be.
Hold on, I can like Can I do that? Let me check.
And if you want it, here's another link.
yeah, I posted like the picture of it.
Oh yeah, that works.
It's fine.
Gonna actually
Yeah. If you as PCs are trying to fill these positions, that's the skills and stats that may be called upon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like for diplomat, persuasion,
Or deception.
and both of mine are +7. So.
And it's either intelligence or charisma.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're very well set for that.
I'm very well set for that.
Meanwhile, it's dexterity or intelligence for the spy master with deception or stealth as the skill.
+10 then, because I have expertise and stealth
yeah.
dex.
So what we initially
Spy master.
what we initially had for Z, the list that I carry around, is Sage and Enforcer, because obviously this wasn't like actual numbers rolling.
Oh, enforcer.
I didn't go through the enforcer, did I, during the big thing? I didn't.
What is the enforcer?
The enforcer fills a interesting niche in the council. The enforcer's job is to eliminate resistance for the council. Their job, depending on the alignment of your councillor,
Yeah.
might be more of the role of court assassin, or it might be more on the line of bounty hunter. But their job is to hunt down criminal elements, dissidents. Basically, if there is something that needs eliminating that isn't really army level elimination, but more of a, like, you've got this rogue element, they're typically the person you call upon, as well as if you ever have political rivals in your lands or similar situations.
I do. There's something that tickles me having Zed as the royal assassin.
It uses Dex and Survival as the other thing.
Yeah, it uses strength or dex and intimidation or survival.
Yeah, Dex and like Survival would be like +8 in total for me.
Which would be pretty awesome. Like, he shows up and then just summons all of these spiders that eat you alive and then vanish. It's like, well, how did he die? Well, he got eaten by spiders. It was really weird. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know if we need the Sage at this point, because it's education. We are not focusing on education at the moment.
I don't know. I feel like helping understand Sorakai might need the Sage.
I think Sorakai
On
is
the
like
research
90%.
perspective, could be useful. Yes.
Yeah, but in terms of like the matters of farming and sustainability that can't be done through magic, I mean, Sage would be that, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Non-learning
Sage would do farming. That's correct.
Yeah, so maybe.
So I would then go with Sage, because
Sage could be very useful.
We don't have any rogue elements that need to be eaten by spiders at this point.
I don't
But
think so.
No, you could do that still.
but
I mean, I need to go hunt some magical monsters to get some resources.
We can go do that.
we can do that. Yeah. I'm not against hunting a magical monster.
For sure, you can fill in the Sage slot.
Okay.
There's certainly the issue with currently you only have 4 available councillors, but funny enough, you have 4 available council slots.
Yeah.
So
Mikara is Magister.
Easy.
Yeah.
Raiden is either Treasure, I think,
So-
for now is good.
So question: if we don't have a steward, does that mean that actually restoring the roads up there will be impossible?
No, that is not impossible. With Sorakai, you have many things, and Raiden is always an option for it, even if he's playing Treasure or if he's playing Steward. So that's fine.
Okay, then Treasure, I think.
But there is through certain projects the Treasurer can't do, but the Steward could. But the Sorakai is probably fine for that project. So
okay.
Yeah. I would say Eliza would be a perfect consul, because it's internal affairs, peasants.
Yeah.
That's like
she
her
has.
jam.
Yeah, she has such a good pull with them. Like she is there.
you want to see Eliza did not specialize when she leveled up to level 5. She has a bit of everything.
Yeah.
That's good because she's flexible. I think Council's a good idea.
Yeah.
She is the consul.
Mizara,
I mean, I would stick her in Enforcer, but she's evil, so like she'll be an assassin rather than a
Yeah, but we
like,
don't even
hunter.
have anything to give her right now. We
Yeah.
can give her the role, make her happy, but we don't have anything for her to do.
True, but maybe the fact that she's there will help because it's
Yeah.
for the month, right? Dark.
Yes, you can always rearrange the council at the end of the month, or
Yeah,
or
we
when
can-
you receive a new councilor, you can rearrange the council automatically.
You know,
So we don't know what will happen in the next 4 weeks. So maybe we should
think
put
we
her in
should
there
chuck
just for
her in
now.
there.
just
Yeah.
just maybe we can flavor it like, Lady Missara, we have a lot of stuff on our table right now, but we have decided to give you some resources, so you can start tracking down your target over there in Reichhold, and get some good leads for us when we
Yes,
get
True.
there.
The enforcer has one other option they can always do if you don't have an edict for the enforcer to do, you can tell the enforcer just to try and just quell the population.
Oh yeah, reduce unrest. Excellent. Very
Wait,
good.
no, hold on. But her alignment, she might like it depends on how they do it.
It does lower unrest, but though potentially, if she rolls badly, could have other side effects.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, surely she's good at this. It won't leave any traces, right?
Well, Enforcer is strength or dex, intimidation, or survival.
Yes,
So
I mean, she can fill the position, most certainly.
yeah.
What's her dex?
I mean,
don't know.
she's a dexterity-based like rapier person, so take that.
What's her intimidate or survival?
Intimidate very high.
All right.
Well, I mean, we can put her in, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically,
The opposite
those
of
stats anyway don't
my character.
exactly align with what the NPC stats have to be, but
Yeah, because it's a different scale, right?
I take a very hands-off approach. I'm like, it would be nice if people were less upset, looking
Sure.
meaningful
I mean-
over to Lady Missara.
so for now we're going to assign her as being the enforcer of your realm.
Okay, yeah,
Think
let's
so.
do that. Nothing could go wrong.
I mean,
Remember,
we could
we're
throw her as advisor.
Yeah,
Just to fill a role.
Technically speaking, as a note, while you do need to have the stat in question to have the position, such as you do need like military to have the martial position. The other, if you have other stats like Eliza having 3 different stats, it can still be useful.
Right.
It's just there is the primary stat for the role, and then there's the other stats that can be helpful.
Yeah.
remember, we're lawful neutral, we're not lawful nice.
Mm-hmm.
I am the only one who's not
sometimes-
nice.
Sometimes, a motherfucker gotta get stabbed.
Wait, y'all are
And-
lawful?
I'm neutral, actually. I
I'm
think.
incredibly lawful. But that's also my hands-off approach. I'm like,
Mhm.
look over to Vickers. I'm like, it would be nice if,
And then he's
these
like, you don't need to
political-
say anymore. He's just like, I know.
Yeah, he just looks and says, very good, my lord. And then he fades into shadow and like 500 people die somewhere. Or like, a horrible smuggling operation starts with like crushed up crystals. But it brings in so much money.
Mm.
And we don't know why exactly. And Amanas won't ask because he won't like the answer.
Speaking of that,
And speaking of
Yes.
smuggling rings?
there you go. Your income is now increased to +5 because you've now assigned Raiden to be treasurer.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yes.
Ding.
Is that income per month as well?
That's no income is per turn.
For 2
Oh,
weeks.
so every 2 weeks. Okay, that's good.
Every 2 weeks and once on the bonus week whenever it comes up.
Sweet.
Ooh, a
All
bonus
right.
week.
Yeah, because at the end of each season, there's like a single like week-long kind of festival moment.
Mm.
During that, you got automatic counts an extra turn for you anyway.
So
Look,
we
guys,
get
we're
fucking
assigning.
parties.
We have a court. Look at
We have
this.
a court,
Yes.
man.
Your court
Oh,
not maxed out for the moment, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think we got
Hmm.
We made some good decisions there.
I think so.
I know who we can add as advisor. We can add, King's Horse as advisor.
Yeah, he
Ah,
has
really?
6 intelligence.
Sorry,
He-
who?
The
My
king's
horse.
I mean,
Oh,
Everyone
my
is indisposed.
I
Listen
thought
to
that
the
was your
horse.
hair. I thought it was your hair.
No, listen to the horse. Give the horse a pen, and he will write it
Sorry.
down.
sorry, my mind is now going Crusader Kings. It's the consort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consort. Wait,
Mm,
my horse is not my consort. Excuse me.
it's your royal queen, equestrian queen. That's fine.
Her hair is so luscious.
Oh, all right. Let's move on. before
Okay,
this gets
so
weird.
before we officially start the next council meeting, this is currently going to be the council.
She
Yes.
trots down the street.
Let's lock this in. Yes, this is what we're
Man,
doing for
those are
next week.
some childbearing hips right there.
Actually, you know what's really funny is I have a potion of comprehend language.
You can talk to the horse.
Yeah. In fact,
Get
actually,
away.
I've got 2.
Run away.
So for an
Oh.
hour, you could have a conversation with your horse.
I have already. I have it telepathically.
Oh,
Yeah.
we could have a conversation with your horse for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
Where
I can
did
always-
the bad king?
I wonder if Vickers can listen into the telepathic conversation with the horse.
It says
I
any
think
creature.
it's one side.
And
Oh,
because
any
because
creature.
your fine steed learns one of your languages and can understand it, that means I can telepathically
That's
communicate with
Then
it.
you
fucking
can
hilarious.
totally talk to my
That's
horse.
fucking
The horse
hilarious.
can be like, yeah, man, like, listen,
Get the horse in here.
need that horse talking.
He can be the king's cupbearer.
There you go, your majesty.
Yeah, it's creatures, and I need to. Let's see. A creature can't use telepathy if it can't speak any languages, but
I think he can speak
it
horse.
knows though,
He knows languages. He knows
Yeah.
celestial and common, I believe.
and we don't need to
Both
speak a
probably.
common language. They just need to know a language.
Yeah,
Need to know
so-
a
so-
language, yeah.
All right. Yeah, it works. Well, the horse might freak out though, because it can end the
I mean,
problem with
who
my
knows?
telepathy
Right, you
is
just-
that it can end it like for free.
No,
so
you just tell it. It's smarter than Amanas, so you just explain
true.
it.
It's true.
I'm actually smarter than it by 2 points. I will say
Two.
this.
Oh, okay, alright.
Oh, I thought it was just one, because then you'd be the same. But whatever. Okay.
No, I have a mighty 8 in intelligence, and the horse has 6. So
How do you have 8 intelligence as a ruler of a realm? I don't
yeah,
understand.
well, the thing is, Amnas is not necessarily dumb. It's just he has no scholarly learning at all. Like he slept through all of his classes
enough.
forever. So my like inability to remember things properly is actually perfectly reflected at the
it is.
characters.
Sure.
So this rabbit kingdom or whatever, like
Even for
Yeah.
my 14 intelligence, I feel like I need I need the gilded server with all the information.
yeah. So
yeah.
every time it's like that rabbit place, and Ceres just gets some 1,000-yard stare. It's like for the
Yeah.
5th time today, my lord. It's Reichhold. Like, please.
No, that's not the rabbit place. God damn it! It's the Duchy of the Silver Isles.
Oh, damn it!
Damn it!
Damn
Amanas.
everything! See, it's just impossible. All these names. Oh,
Silver Isles, rabbit.
oh. Rabbit is
Silver
on an
rabbit.
isle.
It's Silver Rabbit. Think of Silver Rabbit, Silver Isles. Damn it! Silver Rabbit, Silver Isles. God.
We may like something like what is this? Like poetry or whatever. Could like remember for like kids.
Yeah.
Rhythm things.
Oh, it's gonna be
Right. You need to rhyme properly for
Yes.
you to remember. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You know. Yeah. So he's not very book smart. Amanas. He's more of an animalistic cunning to him, I think,
That's
than
fine.
an actual smart.
I mean, Ceres and Vicus aren't strong people. That's what we have Amanas for. Amanas is
You know,
strong.
charismatic. You know, is 18 charisma over here.
Yeah,
he's,
bathing.
so-
You and me are just
Yeah.
like pillars of charisma.
Yep. Incredible. Just
Like
absolute
oozing
beacons
charisma.
of charisma over here.
Yeah, like
And
18,
yeah,
like a +8 between us.
but between sessions we go and dip Lord Raiden in the toilet because he's a nerd.
No, you
Nerds,
do that. I
nerds,
can't lift him
nerds.
up. I can't lift him up.
No, but you'll be like the queen bee, you know. It's like,
Yeah,
oh my
that's
god,
it.
if I can dip him, if I can dip that fucker, oh my god.
I mean, you have double of the charisma that I have. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, sad.
Oh yeah, Zed. He's not charismatic.
But he's very wise.
He's a wise man. He's a wise old man.
He's average on voice.
Oh.
16's
Average.
pretty good, man. 16's pretty good.
16 is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, +3 is good. Like you're a smart, dexterous man at +14. Like you're intelligent. Like Ceres is an intelligent person at 14. But yeah, your charisma, people sort of like
You know,
it's people like you don't hold conversations very well.
I mean, if he holds, he's very blunt about things.
Yeah, like
You know?
people look at you like, well, yeah, you're just a bit blunt with everything. Yeah, it's great. Like, yeah. Man.
It's I think we have a wonderful council. We have done the best we can with the cards we got.
I think we've done brilliantly. I also love the fact that I have a staff that makes little frost runes on the floor. Like as it strikes. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it.
So remind me again.
Yeah.
But onto Mikara, and why do we trust her? Because she is sort of a crazy ice witch, right?
No, she's not crazy at all. She's
She just looks like a goth rocker.
yeah. So without prompting, without names or like anything like that,
Yeah.
she was able to identify who Ceres was, and like she said that she had a personal connection to Ceres's mother, without
Yes.
prompting, and like a personal like friendship, her mother, and it wouldn't have been possible to gain that information while Ceres has been like an adult in like human eyes. Like she's been frozen for decades. So it's not like she could have gathered the information recently. It was like it's like she knew it was Ceres because she looks like her mother apparently.
Okay. So
it's
Mikara
like
knew
familial.
Ceres's mother.
They were like college besties.
No, I see. Understood.
I believe that's exactly kind of how she described it. They were roommates during the Arcadium.
Yeah.
But Ceres has never heard her mother talk about Mikara.
I mean, her mother was like assassinated when
What?
Ceres was a child.
So, but what I'm trying to say is that what we know of Mikara is that she did indeed know her mother.
Yep.
We don't know anything about their relationship.
Oh yeah,
necessarily.
no.
So she could still be an incredibly evil
could
ice
be.
witch.
She could be,
Right.
but
Understood.
she seems to have a liking to Ceres, akin to an aunt.
Hence the nickname Auntie Mikara.
Yeah.
Understood.
I do plan. Don't worry. I do plan on delving that relationship and seeing where we're at. But I need.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just just keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
Because I know Lord Raiden and Eliza, they're fine.
They're
Like
fine.
they've proven themselves. Lady Mizara uses us as we uses her. I understand that. Mikara is a mystery to me, and having seen her medical prowess, I'm worried about that because
You've got an incredibly powerful mage who, at the time, who was still wounded and lacking her full spell repertoire.
yeah.
But like that, so I like Duck can confirm for me that up until obviously this point where we've had this like grey area, Ceres has been checking in on what Mikara has been doing throughout the time we've had.
And she has done nothing so far to alarm Ceres.
No, she has not.
Or to alarm any of your NPCs.
Yep. She's been.
Though some of them find her a bit creepy, but
if she ever does, just knock on the door of your friendly neighborhood spymaster, and we'll get it done.
I don't even need to do that. I've
Just-
got a message. Right.
Yeah, just
Sure.
keep an eye on her,
Yeah,
and
totally doing that.
and especially what she does up in Sorakai, because I don't want
Oh yeah, no, I'm.
something like, oh, I've rerouted all this. I control it now.
I
You know what
actually
mean?
want to keep a very tight grip on Sorakai.
Yeah.
I know that Mikara is going to be invaluable in getting it up and running. I know that it's going to be Amanas's city in name. It's going to be it's Ceres's baby. Like Sorakai is going to be her wonder project.
We need to get that teleportarium up and running up there, so we
Yes.
can actually like come and go more.
And
I will say one of the construction projects in Sorakai, though you won't be able to afford it for a stupidly long time at the moment.
It is like gate.
Teleportation circles to other capitals.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's how I assume the ancient elves actually moved to and from that place, because it's so remote. Like the only way to
I
mean,
actually get stuff there is teleportation.
But that's how they got through between many of their settlements at one point.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. And
However, reactivating those and building new ones is
gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's a huge investment. It's
Yes.
gonna be great when we finally do it.
Yeah, and I want the tower back up and running. I want to convert Toph's tower into Ceres's tower.
That will also take a while.
Yeah, because it's full of traps.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
I guarantee
no,
most of it is
Hey,
like
I know.
disintegrate.
I'll actually let you know. I'm going to be going into details like council missions and like PC expeditions later during the session. One of the future expeditions is literally the tower itself, the dungeon.
Oh,
You
So I
know,
have fun with
Yeah.
that.
what we if you have a tower full of traps, I do know a guy on this council who can summon infinite spiders. Just summon them and send them up to trigger all the traps.
You know what?
It's not
Manikai did that.
infinite. I
Mana-
guess it's infinite.
That's also assuming that the traps are recharged.
I'm not
Oh,
joking.
What
Manikai.
recharging traps? What arcane sorcery is this?
Manikai did a
it's
similar
literally
thing
Arcane
in
Sorcery.
Odyssey. Like there was like pressure traps in like a pile of gold, and Manikai, to clear a path to one of the chests, just threw javelins at the floor to trigger the traps.
Yeah, no,
Like
a good
just
idea.
walking forward.
that's
I
what I
will-
have.
I will also say I played a summoner character in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was focused master summoner, so I wasn't focused on my idol. I was focused on just the small summons.
Yeah.
And like we ran across traps without the rogue here one session because the rogue was away. Oh, summon a monster on the pressure plate.
There we go. It's done.
I mean, it's a valid tactic. That's why I have that 10-foot pole with you wherever you go, so you can poke at things.
But yes,
Alright.
I think we've got everyone back.
Yes. I
The
believe
council assembles the next day. I will toggle the calendar forwards by one day. Out of curiosity, what time would the council preferably like to convene?
Early morning.
early morning. Yeah.
Like
definitely.
early.
Sarah comes in a nightgown, like, oh,
Oh
It
no.
is-
cup of
It's
coffee.
You're on
It's
about she's up
8:30 in the morning.
She's up 4 hours before all of you.
True.
Uh,
she
Well,
has
it's
a
actually not Zed.
trance.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
only
elves,
trance.
fucking
No,
elves.
we're only
I-
asleep for
no,
4 hours.
Being up 4 hours before everyone else would imply you weren't up half the night studying.
Yes.
No. She goes to sleep when everyone else does, but she wakes up and studies for 4 hours.
I mean, because they're still awake like halfway through the night anyway. But
We
It's
probably
true.
have like an overlap.
Because can't sleep since the incident. Just
Yeah, he
sits
just
there
hits up that
staring.
telepathy. He's like, hey.
Yeah. Hey, are you sleeping? Hey,
the day kind of comes round, and the council all kind of files into the chamber. Ryden, as usual, has his clipboard as well as several more piles of notes with him.
he loves this. Look at him. He loves his clipboards and notes.
He does. I love that he comes in with clipboards and notes and everything, and Ceres is like a tome of like arcane bullshit.
Let me take this relevant role.
Mikara's come in with a small pile of scrolls,
That's great.
as well as her grimoire, which is this just pitch black tome.
Oh,
Ooh.
that bodes well.
There is some like icy writing across it, but the leather itself is pitch black.
I gotta say, Vickers is very interested in it.
I do have a note on my gilded that says talk to Mikara about the grimoire.
Yeah, because you just seem to have got it out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm very curious about it. But that's a whole different topic I plan to bring up with her. That I just,
Eliza has arrived to the meeting with 0 notes.
of course.
Of course, though she is the second most well-armed person in the room, given she still has her long sword, a throwing axe on her back, her bow,
Oh, the bow that shoots the long swords. Yeah, I remember that.
and a quiver of arrows. Oh, and also a secondary short sword.
Damn, she's stacked.
Look, she much like Amnis is usually armed to the teeth.
Yeah, of course.
The only difference is she's not in plate mail. Though she's not keeping her hand on the weapon like Amnis does during the meeting.
I guess that would come with his like shield on it with him. Yeah.
He has everything.
I guess he would come like I did this shield. If nothing else.
This is where Sarah's is in like a gown.
Yeah, with pearls woven in.
Yeah, it's just
you
like-
know? If she
Looks like
if she
she's
does
ready.
a sudden move, it will rip. So-
Wow.
Miss Zara is dressed very formally herself. She has not adorned herself in armor or anything similar to those. She still has her rapier at her side.
Like, we're ready if, like, a foreign dignitary has ridden here in, like, quick
Yeah,
stead.
yeah, I know.
We're ready. You lot
Yeah, no.
are ready for the battlefield,
Yeah.
Mm.
and I appreciate it.
And onto Mikara is just with her feather boa, just this like Cruella de Vil thing she has going.
She does have like a large white coat and like heels. So
I love it.
Yep.
I've got, like, the proper picture that Dark sent.
I don't refer to the full picture on purpose.
It's great.
The full picture is not accurate to how I see her. So that's why it's always cropped.
There is some darkness in her image, certainly, but I kind of like it.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
Also,
Frost-
she has a unique border.
yeah, I do like her.
I mean, Eliza also has a unique border, but for a different reason.
Yeah.
And you know what? The Paladin Royal Guards will have a unique border, I'm sure.
Yeah. The what was the oath again? The oath of the crown.
Oh, for the crown, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
the
again,
Knights of the Ashen Crown, or whatever I called.
Yeah.
again,
Exactly.
a new knight order might be a while before you can form that.
Well, yeah, but like, I liked it.
Future projects. Maybe something to consider in the fall or the winter.
The Knights of Zeal.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Pretty
another
good.
option, yeah.
But the entire council assembles, and after the doors are closed behind you by the guard, Ryden once again stands and looks and kind of announces on his clipboard. First meeting of the new Ashen Council. Date is the 2nd of planting. Taking notes is Ryden Raymatar. Head of the council is Lord Amanus Zeal.
As before, Samaras will look to his left. He will look to his right, and then we'll do the sweeping motion that the meeting can proceed.
Now, some of this I'm going to just hand wave. Some of this is boring talk for your characters.
Yeah.
It's the characters discussing various details of different logistical plans, different recent things that have come up, and most of us will actually go through as players once the meeting's over. We'll go through like all the things discussed.
Yep.
But we're basically handling the intricate in-character talk because, to be honest, we'll be here for actually 2 hours in a meeting.
Oh, that's perfectly fine.
Plus, I imagine Amnesty doesn't remember half of it anyway.
No, he fell asleep like
Zones
Unreliable
out.
narrator, so
He,
we're gonna skip through.
Vickers has told him how to fall asleep with his eyes open. So
Like Gandalf.
sort of.
It's very useful.
Or he has asked Zed or someone to like brew like a herbal potion that just stuns him for like 2 hours, so he doesn't remember anything.
The key to sleeping with one eye open is always to not have 2 eyes. So
Ah, yes, smart. You
Just don't have eyes.
But as the important, I find the more interesting part of most council meetings is the petitioners.
yes,
Oh,
bring
yeah.
the petitioners in.
bring the petitioners.
I love how that everyone's like, yes, bring in the petitioners, and so it's like, fucking petitioners. Oh, damn it.
So you have multiple petitioners. The first of them, however, is somebody you already know.
Right.
Have a cross. Quickly grab their tokens.
Someone I dislike. We need to fireball-proof our place.
Well, once you get your Sol Kai meeting room, you can.
Yeah, we need to like magically defend
I
it.
mean, there's Eliza's council room, which is also why it does not have 16 chairs for a full council.
I mean, there are certainly. I don't know. In Pathfinder, there's so many spells in Pathfinder where you can protect a
So
room.
many,
I don't know if DDS remembers like all the stuff we put on our council
Oh, I
chamber by the
remember.
wicked. Yes, we did something like that. Like all
Just
of those
homebrew
wards that we had
those.
running.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in the council room. Just so if someone comes in and I don't like them, I can fireball them.
You have failed before the last time. disintegrated.
At
Really.
some point, it becomes disintegrate, and then a
Yeah.
janitor comes in from a side door with a broom and just.
Yes, I mean, I actually did that as a lich. It was very, very, very gratifying
Yeah, I
to
bet.
disintegrate a minion.
Oh, Mayor Shell and some kid, and by his name, I'm concerned.
Arkland Pine.
Aminus is immediately familiar with both of them walking in. Obviously, you're already all of you are familiar with Mayor Rochelle Pine,
Yep.
and you have previously seen, though you've not had much interaction, but you would recognise the boy to be her son.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
A boy in his mid-teens. You saw him attempting to practice, attempting sword practice outside. Though, I mean, he was okay. He didn't stand out to you as anything exceptional, but he was doing his best, and he seemed to have good courtly manners last time you interacted with him.
Yes.
They are both entering in. Mayor Rochelle and her son to a degree as well, though you get the sense not by his choice, have been dressed very much. You would almost Sarah would say above their station, given they're technically just commoners. They've definitely tried to make themselves look like low nobles.
Right.
They are dressed in finery and gems. Well, not exorbitant amounts of gems, but a fashionable amount. Compared to the person who just decides to come in pure gems because I want to show how rich I am. That's not them. Not that they can afford it. Mayor Rochelle comes in, and she and her son bows. It's been a while, my lord.
Nods graciously back.
Members of the council, it's good to see you all here. Though she does seem to raise a slight eyebrow at Makara for a moment. Clearly, maybe a little off guard at the fact that there isn't an ice elf in.
You know.
But, pause from it. It has come to my attention that the court is seeking sponsors for upcoming endeavours and is looking to raise capital. We have worked well in the past, and so I thought I would offer a potential source of capital for yourself.
Hmm.
As you know, I have served graciously as the mayor of my city for coming on a decade here. And with all the help I provided you, I would like to request permission to purchase the noble title of baronet.
Hmm. All right. All right.
Izara looks immediately unhappy.
Oh, shut
Oh,
up,
I
Zara.
bet she does, but
Well, the person that is in charge of our internal affairs is Countess Eliza. So, Ceres' immediate attention turns to Eliza to see her opinion.
She pauses. This will make... The title of baronet has always been a contentious one. It's true, the Radiant Kingdom and many others have used such a title as a means for the lower class to obtain nobility, if they can afford it, usually with exorbitant prices. But it's never made the nobility happy. Most nobles would see it as watering down the bloodlines.
how many nobles do we have up here in Freyfrost? Because it seems very rural to me.
There are a variety of small petty families. I'm talking out of character more here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a variety of small petty families who individually maybe not hold a lot of power, but obviously could still be unruly by themselves. But of course, it's also matters on a bigger picture as well, as there's nobles outside the immediate realm of Freyfrost who would also potentially take offense. especially nobles who don't have a lot of power, don't like seeing commoners catch up to them.
Right.
Depends particularly how high and mighty some nobles feel how much they're going to be offended, but Yeah, like Freyfrost has its collection of eclectic noble groups, such as Lord Charlotte's family, among others. Most of them don't hold a lot of power. Most of them just hold a couple of wealthy businesses.
Right.
But still, pissing off important landowners could be an issue still.
Right. Spontaneously.
Now, of course, the council. I would not be asking for this for nothing. I would like to offer to you the following resources. She kind of hands out some pieces of paper to the nearest two council members who can distribute them to the rest of you. It's quite the extensive amount of resources between. It seems like built up coffers where you're not sure how she's got them all, but built up coffers of quite a lot of resources, seemingly from her various trade businesses she does on the side, as well as various kind of resources she has sitting in Vanterheim's warehouses for for her own city's construction goods that she could loan to you all in return for this. I'll sell to you all for this. In total, be worth about 100 build points.
Oh,
Jesus.
Who are we potentially upsetting here by doing this?
Low nobles are the most likely, so the ones that own businesses or are just a title with a building.
Right.
Manor houses. Some landed nobles, but I don't believe there's very many in Freyfrost.
In Freyfrost, there's not many landed nobles, no.
And then
there's a couple, but not many.
Yeah, and then there'd be the snotty, Puritan nobility that lives outside of Freyfrost.
Right.
Your biggest danger is very likely, Raiden will bring this probably up to you, is if he's to take a guess based on how his interactions go with certain bits of the nobility. Your biggest issue is going to be a couple of noble families in Vanterheim, in particular, who specialize in the import and export of various goods from the south, and who make up a decent bit of trade.
Okay. If that's the case, though, then we can turn the attention of Eliza, and perhaps we can use one of the retainers. The retainer I hired, Serena. Perhaps with their combined effort, as Serena is a local noble of Vanterheim or surrounding regions, between the two of them, they might be able to quell that
potential
unrest. Yeah.
We could, as an effort, also flavor it as Mayor Rochelle actually helping the war effort,
as an honored title rather than a bought title.
Exactly.
But she's giving us money on the side.
Yeah, I mean, she did generous donations to the coffers, in addition to be, actually helping us out in the actual conflict. And as a result, we have graciously decided to award her, because isn't it true that nobles can indeed, or commoners can indeed be granted noble titles for great services to the realm?
It's true. Going that route would probably not offend as many people external to the realm, though many of the nobles who already hate her in Vanterheim may still take offense.
They already hate her.
The thing
internally,
is also,
we can sort that out. Externally, that's what we want to mitigate, because we don't need any more problems externally.
I think
phrasing it that way is a good way to do it.
I mean, we can phrase it as both, as she did a great deed for the realm. So we are, we can even say it as we are entertaining and have accepted it because she has done a great deed.
Yeah.
Make it sound like we wouldn't even accept it if she hadn't done something so great.
Her great service has made it a possibility, but even then, she has come up with the funds herself to do it. But in many ways, she is more than capable and deserving of it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And she, and it also strikes the new idea that Amanas has had to actually, promote competency.
Yeah.
Yes.
just inheriting your title will not be enough. In the new
You won't
like
gain
land that.
standing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you anyone who serves valiantly and efficiently will get rewarded. The titles and influences and an opportunity to climb the ladder will not be the noble's privilege. That's just how we run this. And Mary Rochelle is competent. She is shrewd and very ambitious. And again, I don't trust her fully, but she has been very reasonable in her dealings with us.
Yeah.
And I am willing to give her the benefit of the doubt here, hoping that this will also tie her even tighter to us, because her political fortunes will be very much bound to ours.
Yeah. No, I agree. So flavored as we are only entertaining we're accepting. The only reason we even entertained the request is because of the great deeds she has done.
Yeah. In light of her
services to the crown.
Yeah, business acumen, service to the crown, and loyal dedication to the cause, we have decided to rise up noble woman Rochelle, to make her noble. So.
Okay.
Yep.
So, okay
Yes.
then. One moment then. I'm just going to quickly
You
go.
hear that?
Hmm?
One of our neighbors or something just started blasting.
6 mages teleported a fireball all at once.
Oh!
As soon as you make the decision, it's like a mage in disguise. Be like, I've been testing you, and now I know what you're capable of.
All of these statues on the side have been mages in disguise.
Oh, it's like the ones in fucking Dresden. Oh,
Yeah.
Not quite.
God.
Obviously, yeah. So, of course, doing this will mean that she gets granted, while it's admittedly a low noble title, it would put her only just above a knight's. It would still make her nobility. And it's an inherited title, which means her son would also inherit it from her and be noble.
Presumably, one of the main reasons she's doing this is securing her legacy.
Securing her line, yeah.
That goes without saying. So, I can't remember which of your characters, but I know one of your characters passed the passive insight check. Her main goal here is to secure basically her son a cushy future.
Yeah.
To make sure that he can.
That's obvious.
That he doesn't have to deal with the same noble bullshit that she did crawling up from the bottom.
And yeah, if nobles start giving her bullshit, we'll give them a little visit.
I'm actually going to reveal something here. This is a sample of one of the requests that you can be given, and it has a variety of choices on it you can do.
Okay.
Obviously, you've described out what you're doing anyway, so I already know how this is going to outcome. But I will show you what is an option for you. What was an option on here?
Okay.
And have a look at it.
Ooh.
Oh. This is cool.
And take on her son as a personal squire. That's kind of interesting.
You want a personal squire?
I mean, it's not me. It would be for
Amnes?
Amnes. Yeah.
I'm putting the question.
I think that would actually be pretty cool. An executor and seize all property.
Yeah, I was gonna say, throw her in the stockades immediately.
Honestly, I really like the idea of you taking on a young squire. That'd be cool. Train him in the art. He could be the knight commander of the Order of the Ashen Crown. In in like 15 years' time, when we actually have royal guard. Perfect.
Sure.
Perfect.
I suppose the question is like, how would she feel about that? Like, is this a question of yes, we'll give it to you only if your son is our squire, or yes, we'll give it to you also, there's this idea that we could take your son on as a squire. What's the tone of like how we would go about this if we wanted to?
Because we're basically holding him hostage.
Yeah.
that's that's why I'm
Of
questioning. Is
course,
it like a
that's the
hot-
implication of number 2 is you basically make her son a hostage to the nobility.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's number 2. But number 4, I feel like,
It's an offer rather than a force, like
yeah, but
trade for trade, right?
yeah, yeah. I think it would be like a yes, and we'll even take him in as a squire to solidify his noble standing in the years to come.
My only question, my thought, because I've thought of having a squire or something. I need someone to polish my armor and like bring my horse out and stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's completely something I do need. My thought is this too much honor for her?
That's the thing, isn't it?
That's yeah. If we give her too much,
I
then
think that
Exactly.
makes it.
I mean, it could be like an option later on.
It could be.
Like, it doesn't have to go right away.
I think we
Because-
should keep it just for now.
Because being the squire to the king, that is a position of great honor, and whichever family who has a child in that position would be in great favor, presumably.
Yes.
So if we
Yeah.
lavish too much favor on her,
But then again, like she has been our first like staunch ally in the political sense. Like
yeah, she did not
so,
out of the goodness of her heart. She was very
No.
calculating and businesslike in this, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
She also put cards on the table though and told you outright.
yeah, she's completely upfront and calculating, and she perseveres. That's kind of the person you want to lavish, though.
Yeah,
right?
but is her son like that too?
It's true.
Could probably beat him into shape.
I mean, the squire training is pretty intense. So like
Yeah.
whatever cushiness life he has had, it's not going to be like that. So
I'm not opposed. I mean, he can probably do fine. My only nagging thought was just that. Like, are we favoring her too much?
right.
I think if we do agree to take for Amanas to take him on, I think we will definitely need Eliza to turn her attention to the local nobility that are
Yeah.
against this, to quell their anger.
Well, perhaps as an idea, the squire thing can be an additional thing if she proves more service to us. Like, because we don't really know. She's been striving for this nobility for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty upfront with how she is, but I don't know how nobility, like how a title and how that would change her, if anything. So I'd rather just give this to her and see what happens. And then if she still proves capable and loyal, then maybe we can extend more.
I can totally
after.
see that being as like a yes, we'll accept this. And if you continue to serve us as well as you have been, or better, we will. The king will take your son in as his personal squire.
It's a thing that can go either way, because you can also, on the other hand, also use the whole situation of course, with her son acting as squire, it'll motivate her to potentially work harder because
Yeah.
True.
That's also what I'm thinking, and also if he is the squire, I mean, we have him as a hostage in effect. If she starts, acting
It's
out,
true.
it'll be like,
True.
well,
True.
you do remember, of course, that your precious son and only heir, as far as we know, is in our control. So
she's not married, and it's the only kid you've seen. So
not married. Good heavens!
Yeah.
I mean, she could they could have gone for
Just
the king.
arcades.
So yeah, I mean, in
mean-
essence, we could phrase it like, yes, we might be giving her too much, but we're getting an asset to leverage against her eventually if we need to.
True.
Not that
and
we should, but
we could leverage that against the nobles as well, being like, yes, and we took her son as a hostage, as
Yeah.
a ward, yes,
Yeah, we could.
to potentially. So I'm sort of
ultimately the decision is up to you because you're the one who's going to be taking him on.
Yeah.
Either way, I think either way we're giving her the title. Whether you want to take him now or later or not at all, I think that's fairly inconsequential in terms of the consequences. We can deal with any of those consequences.
Or at least the
Personally, it's
difference
what
in
you
them.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So pick what you want, Jonas.
I'm in agreement.
I mean,
Also, the sooner the sooner you get him on, the better he'll be.
Yeah, you can train
true.
him earlier.
We can do a complete Theon Greyjoy and actually, he switches allegiance, right? He actually,
He could, yeah. But he'll
Yeah.
actually, like, the sooner you take him under the wing, the sooner you start training him, because at the moment he's just
Yeah.
swinging a sword like an idiot.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Did like when Amina saw him, like thinking back, his potential you said was like normal, or like
Yeah, he didn't seem to have a lot of. He didn't seem to have a lot of immediate potential standing out to you. Like he was okay with us. Like, he could wield a sword. He was okay with it. He was managing his shield.
I mean,
Yeah.
even that.
Like he showed basic proficiency, which is not bad. What you noticed more, however, was his eloquence when it was like dealing with like when there were visitors around. He was able to, he was very well spoken, quite eloquent with them.
That
All
is
right.
quite
Well, I
good
mean
for a
that's
squire.
that's a
Yeah.
knightly
Doing that.
virtue, certainly.
Yeah.
He definitely seems to have, a charisma to him, if nothing else.
He's a
Hmm.
paladin.
Got him.
Yeah,
All right.
He's the
I
knight
would tell you,
commander.
he's probably closer to something like a Valor Bard or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Allerbard. How curious.
Pff, no,
Um,
I said closer to, Valor Bard or some other like martial focused bard.
future knight commander.
Yes. I mean,
I mean, you don't just take on one squire. Remember, you can take on multiple squires. So
Okay. Was this a request that she put forward, or is this us putting it forward to her?
like,
It's
us asking her.
yeah, she doesn't outright ask you if you can she doesn't ask outright like if you could take her son on or anything like that. She's not that presumptuous.
Yeah.
What is kind of laid down on the table is the fact, of course, she does introduce her son and talk about the fact that she's looking to eventually get him a knighthood.
Yeah. It's,
Nudge, nudge, but not ballsy
Yeah.
enough to come out and say it.
Yeah.
exactly.
But,
She's like,
you don't. Okay, like Zed and Vickers looking at her.
yes.
You don't think she's expecting you to take her on personally? I think she's probably more imagining like using, kind of putting the idea out there. So at some point she could probably come back to request like you to assign
Yeah. She's throwing the pitch out, so it's in our minds for like whenever it seems appropriate to her later on.
I think if we do it early on, she
Yeah.
might go, "Oh, actually, yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, they're doing like, I should try a bit more. They reward, especially
They
if you
reward
word
competency.
it. Yeah, especially if you word it as that. I think that might be the
All right.
the carrot.
Yeah. No, I have. You have all spoken wisely. And
I imagine this all happening like in the mind link.
Yeah, as a mind
Yeah.
link.
We all
Yeah,
go
I
really
mean-
quiet.
I mean, it's either that, or you can always ask her and her son to step outside while the council discusses.
I
We
like
had
the
the
idea.
mind link.
I like the
Telepathy's
idea
pretty
we
quick,
go
I think.
quiet.
It's pretty speedy,
Yeah.
but it's not like this conversation has gone on in a second or anything. But
I like the image of us going suddenly very quiet as we look at each other, like as if we're having a conversation, but none of our lips move.
Yeah, the conversation through our eyes.
Yeah,
Oh
like
God, how creepy that's
How
supposed to be for the
creepy.
rest of the council. Like that's the Ford. They do that thing again. God damn it.
well,
Oh,
I think of those that I've shared my telepathy with, Mizara and Eliza know what I
What
can
that
do.
is.
I mean, Mazara's just kind of looking at Vickers and almost like she's lip reading. It looks like she's trying to figure out what's going on, judging by people's expressions, like piecing together the puzzle.
Yeah, it's difficult though when we're not
Raiden-
talking.
Raiden just looks a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. All right, well,
Mikara looks disinterested.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't imagine this is Mikara's cup of tea at all.
yeah, she's like, whatever
Um,
the fuck, just do
Don't
anything.
give a shit about this kid and the fucking mayor.
disintegrate.
All right.
There we go. Problem solved.
I mean, she
Um,
could, but that would be option 5 for you.
Option 5,
Yeah.
Mikara disintegrate.
What is
well,
your decision, my king?
My decision then is I pick number 4. And Amnas will sit, sit up a bit straighter in his chair, and he will look at Mayor Rochelle and say, "I have now consulted with my advisors, Mayor Rochelle, and I have decided that you will get your baronet status. as part of your generous donation to the coffers of the council. He taps his finger on the table thoughtfully, and he will continue and say, "Now, the reason that we have chosen to accept this is mainly, and I will stress this, mainly because of your outstanding service to me and my people. You have been an early and a staunch ally, and we have appreciated the forthrightness and honesty in our business dealings. You have shown yourself to be an outstanding and competent woman, Mayor Rochelle, and such things should be rewarded. Nobility is all fine and well, but unless you have the will and the skill to back something like that up, it is only stagnation, sloth, and ultimately death. As such," he nods again, "you will have what you request." Now, he looks from her to Arkland Pine, and he will say, "I have also noticed that you have brought your son before us today. I have listened to what you have said, and I've listened to my advisors, and I have decided to extend an offer to you, Mayor Rochelle. It just so happens that I am currently without a squire, something that is hardly fitting for a king. As such, we would request that Arkland Pine be made squire to his majesty." He will do like a gesture towards himself, speaking in the royal third person, of course. He will lean back slightly and wait Rochelle's answer.
The mayor looks slightly caught off guard
Mm.
as she pauses for a moment and looks to her son, who kind of briefly has the look of a deer in the headlights.
Of course, the poor child. He's like, "What? No."
I mean, Amanas looks like a grim, like,
Yeah.
just
Lock the
Death.
doors. Don't let him leave.
seize him.
The indoctrination shall begin.
Then there's kind of a brief moment where the two exchange looks for a second. And then, with a small nod, the teen actually approaches the council table, and kind of places the hand over his heart and bows slightly.
Good.
It would be an honor, my lord, if you would accept me to such a position.
Amanas nods graciously, and then he will like lift his sword slightly, like slam it down on the ground, sort of like a gavel almost. And he will say, "So be it then, Arkland Pine. You are henceforth a squire at the court."
Teleport away.
Yep. Whisked away.
What's the stank face on Azar right now? How's she looking?
She looks unhappy.
Of course she does. It's fine. She just heard the competency is rewarded, so
Yeah, she is not vocalizing it. She is respecting your decision, but she is not happy with it.
Oh, of course.
But she will respect your decision. It is your court.
Good.
Now, he will look at Arkland Pine and say, "Now, Arkland, if you show the same competency and the same dedication to our cause as your family has before you, then your future here will be very bright. I can promise you it will not be easy, but great vistas of opportunity are opening up for you." He smiles as friendly as he can, which varies.
It's not great, honestly.
He's more imperious than friendly, but
He seems to take it well enough, though you don't know if that's just well-trained, like, drilling of, like, etiquette, or
Yeah,
mhm.
he's got good poise, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
The team pauses. I do not know if I can hold a candle to my mother's business acumen, but where I am able, I will be honored to serve.
he nods. Well spoken, lad. So be it. He will look over to Raiden and said, Lord Raiden and Countess Eliza, you will draw up the necessary papers and make the necessary arrangements. It has been decided.
Lady Eliza smiles as she stands up. It is an honor to have you It is an honor to have you in my realm, Dame Rochelle Pine.
Mm.
As Raiden is just making notes with his clipboard.
Curious scribbles.
Amanas will nod again magnanimously.
2 petitions will leave the court.
God, I feel so cool. Like I'm actually making decisions that are.
That's why I just swapped the token out, because I just swap out her title from being to Dame.
Yeah, it's great.
Says that Viker says that it is so cool, right? Like we're making like decisions like a court. It's
No,
incredible.
that's definitely 100% me.
That's a telepathic message.
Exactly.
Yes. Vickers only speaks when necessary, which means when he speaks is more impactful. So
Amanas leans back and thinks that it's good to be the king.
Sure, there's more.
there's more to being the king than this.
More
I'm sure.
peasants. No, there's more peasants coming.
There are more.
Damn peasants.
I think at this point, Ceres has gotten bored. She's reading.
You are required to stay for the meeting.
She's required to stay.
Yeah, Ceres is not excused.
Lord Raiden looks down the agenda and immediately looks pained as he looks at the next bit.
Oh, good.
No.
A while back, I asked the court, though it was before we were formed as a court, if you would be interested in speaking to a local businessman who is rather influential in the markets. He accepted our offer and is here to petition the court.
Oh dear.
Oh, well, let's show him in.
His name is, well, I suppose I should introduce him as he comes in. It's only what you'd want. Raiden does not look pleased.
Let's see what kind of kook this is.
Ceres shakes her head. Swear to God.
Oh, no.
Court, if I am to introduce Sir Montgomery Barnsworth.
Oh, dear Lord in heaven.
As you see, a rather rotund man step inside.
We need Manakai's flabby advisor voice.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
That's all right, lad. That's all right, lad. Now, run off somewhere. You're done here. You're fine.
Wow.
Raiden does not look pleased.
I think. Wait, did he tell Lord Raiden to run away? Like, go away?
Yeah, like your servant, go away.
I think at that point, Ceres will actually speak up and say, Sir Barnsworth, I think you will address our council members with a bit more respect.
Oh my apologies, my good lady. He pauses for a moment as he places a hand in his chest.
So, out of character, my notes for this guy is his fortune was built from his family of money lenders. He has economic insights that are mostly tricks of maximizing profits and driving his competition out of business. That's what I have written down for him.
So, a vicious banker / loan shark.
Yeah. Merchant. I think,
Now, if it does please your grace, I have travelled quite a distance here to to offer my services to your great ambitions. I've heard great tales of what you have done, and, well, your reputation precedes you. It is such a shame that the good people of the South have forgotten, or that have forgotten your reign.
It's laying on pretty thick, but Amanas will nod towards him, and
Now, I have no disrespect to your court, but he gestures a hand towards Lord Ryden. I understand that currently yes, Lord Ryden is currently your Master of Finance here. And while I'm sure he is all well and skilled at the matters he does, you do understand that even by his races and even by human standards, he is still young. And he still lacks much experience in these matters. And so, what I would like to propose to the council I would like to propose my services to you all in helping to get your burgeoning economy strengthened and secured.
Ugh.
After all, someone with more experience in these matters will be of far more use to the court, I believe. Moreover, I have quite a deal of influence with some of the local lenders, and I'm sure we could get you a loan to help with any major projects if they come up. I will, of course, ensure you actually get a good rate, not like my customers.
hmm,
And what does he want in return?
He wants to be part of your council.
he wants to be treasurer, I imagine.
He wants access to all the monies.
So, this is not one you have to accept immediately, though you have your choice to. But Montgomery Philip Barnsworth, he is offering to join your council, just like that. He would join your council as a free stewardship, 1 intrigue unit.
Wow, that's a lot.
He knows money. And backdoor secrets. Take that as you will if that's a good thing or not.
I don't know. He seems kind of sketchy to me, but like most money people are sketchy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Uh,
And having an actual like ruthless money man is not bad.
He's all about maximizing profit, which is kind of what you want.
It
Yeah.
is kind of what we want. I do like Lord Raiden, but he is more of a Lord Raiden is much more of a like what do we say, like a proper clerk, while this dude is a businessman. You see the difference?
I will
Yeah.
remind the court that we only have 4 positions available at the
So
moment.
unless you shifted Ryden into being advisor, he would be booted from the council.
Right.
Also, like, you don't want him to make you like different kind of loans. Like, he gonna soon rule the fucking kingdom by loans.
He gives
Yeah.
you he's giving you the offer of loans. He's not forcing a loan.
Yeah,
We're not necessarily taking a
I-
loan, but
I honestly, since this is not
I don't.
something we decide right away, I personally don't like this man.
No.
no.
I can understand what he offers though, so like I don't think we should turn away, decline completely now, but just leave it open for a bit to see what comes about until the point where we have to like answer him, I guess.
You will need to answer him before the end of the month, otherwise he will just leave. But
Right, yeah. So we'll see up to then, and then. Also, I don't like how he's disrespecting Raiden. That pisses me off.
I think we need to get dirt on him.
Let's see, what's everyone's passive insights?
Passive insight.
13.
Is that just 10 plus your like thing?
Yeah.
Plus your
14.
insight.
14.
13.
10.
Insight.
I'm proficient in insight, so
I think it's wisdom based, so you should be good at it then.
yeah.
3. So 13.
Okay, so 14 is highest for me.
Okay. He definitely seems to have. I mean, you can already tell this anyway. The two of them seem to have a history.
Hmm.
But you sense there's more than just that. You sense kind of an existing bias on top of whatever history for it.
Right.
He doesn't like Raiden for a clear reason, though you don't know what it is.
Hmm.
No, if it's I do like Raiden. He's been very helpful again. Thing is, Raiden is like the dude is sort of right. Raiden is very young. He's not very experienced.
Yeah, but also Lady
but also on
Eliza
the-
is part of council. You don't want to anger Lady Eliza.
Yeah, and on the flip side, he's young, so he can get much better as well.
Yeah.
I think this guy is just what he is.
See, that's the
Mhm.
thing though. I'm not sure Lady Eliza would be mad if Lord Raiden did other things.
I
Maybe
think
we just have a talk with them and see what they think. Because Raiden has, to me, always seemed rather reluctant to be involved in a lot of this. He'd rather be doing something else. It seems to me.
Right. But on the flip side, having this guy present in our console is going to be a sore point for him always. It seems, regardless if he's in it or not. So I don't know.
It's for the council to discuss. He has offered his proposal,
Yeah, we'll think about it.
and of course, as part of him joining the council, he can also bring a few resources in his trade caravan along with him.
Hmm.
50 bill points.
Yeah,
I mean, can we seize his money? Can we take that opportunity?
Can we kill him and seize his resources?
I mean, you always technically have the option to just kill someone, but that may have ramifications.
Yeah, that's not murder. Everyone.
Killing a rather influential businessman might be an issue.
I might have a job then for Lady Mikara.
I like the idea of having him on the council also for the different perspective he would offer, because this is clearly a man with no scruples.
He doesn't have the chaotic good equality for all mindset of Raiden.
And he
Yeah.
loves gold, and maybe that's what we need. I'm not sure. I see the point of not having him though, because he's
Obviously,
clearly
if he was treasurer, of course, that would increase your income by 2 every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Because he's just a better steward than Raiden is.
exactly. And if he screws up or turns out he has sold us out, we'll kill him. He's
What I would like to do is at least delay it to figure out what the hell is the beef between Raiden and him, and figure out what that is, and then we can make a decision.
We need
fair
a
enough.
background
Fair
check.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We have listened to his gracious proposal, and we are most intrigued. We will deliberate, and we will get back to him within a month.
He leaves his business card with the council and informs you which inn he's staying in if you decide to call upon him.
Oh, wonderful.
Make his way out. You definitely notice Raiden's scribbles on his clipboard are far more vigorous as he leaves.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
He's still taking notes, but he's clearly tense.
Yeah.
We have one more petitioner for today. Though the petitioner could not actually make it in person, so they have simply sent a letter to the council.
Okay.
As Raiden kind of starts handing a document around, we have received requests from multiple local dwarven mining groups requesting to sell mineral rights to a certain area of the Freyfrost Mountains.
And what they would buy these off us?
They will buy the mining rights off us for a flat upfront cost, and that will be it. Though of course this will eat into our long-term mining profits of our own, but as a cash injection.
Yes. At this point, Ammonus will notice. It's very slight. On Vicus's right side, he will slowly take out a letter from his pocket, or rather slip it just slightly out of his pocket and just look at one thing, and then put it back in. And he will say, I believe I can take care of this. There is actually a client in mind that would certainly provide us with resources for those rights.
Look over. And he'll and say, yes, the question certainly is. He like, looking at it. In the long term, this will certainly be hurting us. Let's see here. How we need to wait before this has starting to actually lose us money?
What do you mean?
A long time.
Well,
I
we
mean-
get 200 BP, but -1 income, right? So it'd
So
be
200 days.
You have about 30 turns a year. So, I mean, that's, a few decades before that actually.
Right.
Fully.
Okay.
This will get us up
That's-
and going.
Yeah, then that's fine. If it's like a few
Uh.
decades before we start losing money on it, fine.
I guess you guys got to calculate. It's about 30 turns a year. So it's 200 divided by 30 is what? Like, it's not decades, it's 6.5 years.
That's a long
Yeah.
I
time.
think
And it also
6.5.
gives connection to dwarves more.
And I feel like our build point income will have grown more than 1 in that time. I think
And
we'll
Hopefully.
Vicus
feel it.
will also mention that who he has in mind is also a dwarven clan. So it's not like it will be some mysterious like other benefactor. There will be a dwarven clan getting the rights, but one that he knows.
Bryden looks very curious here, though he's not saying anything.
What was the here? Which clan was this?
In
What
this,
contact?
in this case, the original request came from a variety of different clans, and Ryden's proposal was to sell shares among them all.
Okay, sure. I mean, Vicus.
The exact details are to be figured out by whoever actually handles this request, if anyone.
I mean,
Yeah.
if Vicus says that he has a lead on this that he thinks will be, is it as profitable or more profitable, or
The
like?
same.
Okay, what would be in Vicus's mind? What would be the benefit of going with his proposal over what Ryden is offering here?
He is not at liberty to say to the council. And he will say that
What?
telepathically to you.
Right. Then, Ambrose will ask Vicus back and basically say, "I see, but I assume you have very good reasons for this."
He does. Does he not always?
Yes, it is certainly a strange request, and trusting someone blindly like this is not something Ambrose would do normally. But then again, there is Vicus, and he has saved his life, so does seem okay. But maybe later Vicus can give some sort of more in-depth reason for this move.
If he asks that to him, then he will say yes, but he can't elaborate right now.
Okay. Well, in that case, Amnas will look at him intently for a while and then say, "Very well. Thank you for the input. Look to the others. We are in agreement to at least sell the mining rights in question, yes?"
Sarah's nods.
The council doesn't have any strong objections against it. No one here does, at least.
Then he'll do like a motion towards Vicus and say that Vicus will see to it that the deal is made, and give him a long look saying, "Don't make me regret this."
Ryden looks to his clipboard. Well, with that, all we need to do is what we need to do is finish out the rest of the council schedule for the next 2 weeks. This is when we move back to the council table screen now. The official meeting is now over. You've heard the petitioners. But now we're actually going to talk about council actions. What you actually get to do with what you'll get to do as a councillor for your 2 weeks, as opposed to what you get to do as an adventurer for those 2 weeks.
Sure.
Though, sometimes you want to stay in court just in case something happens.
Right.
So, if everyone will join me at the top, you should have a journals tab.
Yes.
In there, you
Yes.
have a folder called Council Edicts. Inside that, will contain any more folders.
Oh yes, I've been
Oh,
looking at
boy.
these already,
Yeah.
so I'm familiar.
These are various missions and tasks which the council may assign people to do.
Yes.
You also grabbed the Baronet. You already agreed to that.
Yep.
Yes.
So I need to add her onto the battle. I need to add her onto the recruitment section because you can now recruit her if you so choose.
Oh. Do we know what she's good at?
Steward, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
There we go. You can now find her as the upstart Baronet in the recruitment section.
1 diplomacy, 2 stewardship. That's pretty good. I like her more than the.
Then Mr. Money Grubs.
I would take her in a heartbeat over Mr. Money Grabs.
But then we have her son herself and made her a baronet. Like, there's no limit to the benefits she's getting.
It's a lot, but man, that fucking merchant,
Yeah.
Ceres might actually kill him.
I mean,
mean,
that would
if-
solve the problem.
You are
I
not
can-
the only one.
I can
You're not
totally
the
see
only
him just
For
saying
reference,
something
he is on the
wrong.
left-hand side of your council screen.
I can totally see Ceres
This
getting
guy.
so angry at one point.
Look at this guy. He knows so much money, though. Look at that money.
I
If
can't
he-
guarantee I wouldn't slit his throat like
I
one
w-
random night.
No, I can see it happening. I can honestly see him saying something stupid to Ceres, and Ceres killing him.
Just
like,
ice him. Just turn him into an icicle,
just-
throw him off the
yeah.
building so he shatters on the ground.
Kill him. Like there will be zero hesitation, and she will only she'll say oops. Like there won't be anything more.
In
Yeah.
addition, however, since you did complete the request, not so common anymore, and
Yeah.
one of the things of that was you did accept her request. Remember how we noted the nobles may be upset.
Yes.
As you recall, there was an event attached to that.
Okay.
This will now appear in the event.
No protests.
All right.
So decrease income by 2 BP while it's going on. That's pretty rough.
No, it's pretty rough.
Cost
we
shouldn't be like that. The cost is supposed to be 0. That was edited later. There you go.
Oh, consular enforcer for the requirements. Okay.
What?
I mean, Lady, I'm not going to send it.
Lady Eliza, fucking deal with it.
Yeah, and you said you might be able to use the harpy to add on to that or something.
Yeah, I mean, the harpy already
Depends.
gives a bonus, right?
It'll give
And-
bonus to diplomacy-based things. Console is a diplomacy-based position, so it always applies.
Always applies. Oh, that's great. Okay.
You can use the diplomacy thing for other ones, as long as you think diplomacy could be useful.
Yeah.
So, in this case, diplomacy could be useful regardless. Like, this request in general is a diplomacy-based request. You can kind of read that between the lines. So,
All right.
So does using the retainer basically knock down our income by
so the retainers just cost passive thing to have them on standby.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So basically it benefits to use them every turn if you can.
Oh, that makes a total difference. Then yes, I think she should
Yes.
help.
But as it stands, retainer can only be used once in a given council turn.
I
So,
don't need help. I'm fine.
So I guess we should decide on what each of us is doing.
yes, these are long as an event. You can go through them as a group if you want, and just to kind of review the different options on here.
Okay.
Obviously, though, I need to bring attention to this one because this was one of the things that was brought up,
So is the other event
which was Annex Sorkai. Also, I need to edit the income, the treasury and income, because you did accept the Baronet's proposal. Now up to 350 gold points,
Yay.
but
Nice.
your income did just drop down to 3 because of noble protest.
Yes. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's that one thing that we need to pay for. Zed, that thing that we
Yes.
agreed. That's in there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
We-
the
The
thing,
pixie
yeah.
thing, yeah. the
Well, I read that. It
Archpixie
said as
thing.
long as you do it within the year, so you got some time.
Yeah, we got ages to do it, but yeah, that needs
In
to do.
addition, as a note at the bottom of the thing, you've also got this, which is a breakdown of how your income is going.
Oh,
That's pretty
sweet. That's
cool.
useful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or also diplomacy. I really like the name of this, diplomacy. I'm looking at it. I'm like
Silver Moon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that?
That's-
Can you only see one diplomacy or two?
I can see one.
The Silver Moon Ball.
So-
Envoy
there
to
we go.
right cold. All right.
Or Rochelle Pine.
Well, I guess I know what I'm fucking doing.
As a note, if you do recruit one more councillor, you will be over your councillor's court limit, but you do have the advisor slot open still.
Yeah.
Sure.
While the advisor, while most things don't refer to the advisor, if anything names the advisor, they can still be used for that event. So
Right. So if we had Rochelle and put her in advisor, she could still do that envoy to Reichel thing.
yes,
All right.
same with anything that names Raiden, even if he's in the advisor slot, can still perform that role.
Gotcha.
So one thing that I wanted to bring up that actually the whole diplomacy thing will come into sort of play is Luck, our little halfling dragon scaled halfling boy. I know
Yes.
Zed doesn't trust him at all because I don't know.
No. That is bias.
Zed is somehow biased. I don't know what you did, but
Well,
Yeah.
funnily enough, in actually the requirements for recruiting him, Zed can't be the one to do it.
yeah.
Anyone
I
but
mean,
Zed.
do it.
there is a reason. Zed might have to say there's something bit racist about things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. We all heard about it through the grapevine. It's all
You know
good.
what? This is another what the advisor can do, because it's any councillor except Zed.
So so these diplomacy missions, obviously, the majority of them are going to be done by Ceres, probably on her own, like going to these places.
Yeah.
Not with the party. Ceres is very competent as a combatant, but not in melee. I know she has 100% kill rate with her staff.
Yes, famously.
famously. But take, for example, the Silver Moon Ball, where weapons are probably going to be disallowed,
Including staves.
including staves. Luck doesn't need weapons, and he's a halfling, which is a common servant. Halflings are common servants. I would want to recruit him to be basically my muscle.
Yeah.
In case things went wrong in the diplomacy as a last, like, if suddenly they decided to try and assassinate me, I could probably get away on my own. In most situations.
But this would give you a bonus potentially escaping because you've got now a bodyguard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I've got a literal bodyguard,
Yeah, you just need to outrun the halfling.
which I
Hey.
can do.
Hey. Hey, Luck is pretty fast.
he is. He's a monk, so he gets his speed increases.
I can teleport. Fuck him.
The bastard.
I mean, basically, you're both super fast. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously it costs build points to have retainers.
Yes.
Nice one. In this case, it would cost a passive -1 to have him on call.
Yeah,
Oof.
which is a lot.
I mean, it's the lowest possible cost for a retainer, but it's still oof.
Yeah, and if we sell the mining rights, we'll have a further -1, so that would take us down to 1.
Yeah.
But we do get 200 BP, so we have
And
5.
of course, once you clear the noble process, it'll be back up to 3 again.
So yeah, I think he's going to be crucial for Ceres's safety, especially in these early months, years perhaps, where effectively Ceres has to be quite bold with people to even be noticed or like acknowledged.
Retainers could also be useful during any jobs the PCs do if you want to bring them along instead and they're not busy with the council.
Yeah.
It could have use still.
I mean, I think having retainers is always good, so...
The only problems are expensive, but bonuses. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it. I wanted to. Obviously, it's a group decision, but I just have these images of Ceres going to like a ball or to speak to some duke somewhere, and they've actually decided that they want to off her, and she needs a turn to get away.
She needs help, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having the half dragon halfling.
Yeah, having someone that's inconspicuous, doesn't need weapons, is
And
the
yeah,
perfect ploy, and can be that line of defense in a melee
hey,
situation.
And when he activates his dragon mode, he gets resistance to physical damage.
yeah, it's all good.
Doesn't help when they start chucking spells at him, but that's a different issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with taking him. I suppose is what are you just talking in general, or are you saying this is probably the first thing you want to do before you do anything else diplomacy wise? To have him.
I would have him because the only diplomacy things are going to. I mean, obviously it's foreign. It's dealing with foreign dictates, but it's going places to deal with foreign people.
I think that's fine. I'm fine with that completely.
Yeah, just take her.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll see. We need to stabilize our income a bit because we will be down to not a lot. But hopefully, if we can get a good treasurer, maybe we can get that up again.
Yeah.
So I guess we need to decide who's doing what for the first turn, right?
Questions regarding the annex mission of Sorkai.
Yes.
Can the price decrease if Setsas goes and shapes the earth like druidic magics, like a lot of progress? Because that is possible for like roads and that kind of connections making a way.
Not really.
Yeah, that's right.
Because fundamentally, the issue is more than simply that. Because sure, that might help a labor issue of making the roads, but it doesn't change the fact that getting hold of, say, the sheer quantity of mana crystals is going to be a massive expense. Rehousing people will be a massive expense.
For some reason, the annexation is not showing up in the journal, even though you've showed it to us. Because I close it and oh, there, perfect, thank you.
I don't know exactly what you've got. So you just have one in your completed section, which is of course not so common anymore.
Yeah, 2 diplomacy.
2 diplomacy, 2 events.
Yes.
4 missions.
Yes.
7
recruitment.
Yeah, 7 recruitment, 2 requests.
Yeah.
3 research.
3 research and 2 training.
Yes.
Okay.
All good.
I tell you, the game doesn't show me which ones have revealed and which ones aren't revealed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
let's see.
I can go first. I have an idea what I would like to do.
Yep.
And that would be simply to deal with the sticky situation mission. It's very easy for me. I mentioned this before. Eagle, Spo, just shoot these fucking slimes and deal with it. It's no problem for that.
Yep.
And I need these reagents for some magical gear that I want. So it's a bit of a bias in that sense.
Sure.
Yeah, it's personal stuff. That's fine. Yeah.
And it might also unlock some magical stuff and otherwise that might help.
Yeah. Right. So that's your 2 weeks. 4 weeks.
That's a 4-week thing. It would take an entire month for Joe to complete that one.
Okay.
But it is doable.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything for the council to do. It just takes time.
Right. Vicus would probably go ahead and sell those mining rights just to get that money in for his 2 weeks. Yeah.
Obviously, that would also significantly help.
Yes.
And that would be a 1-turn thing. If you did that. Yep. I can go ahead. I think I can drop these on the board. Let's see. You're going sell mining, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can drop that below the spy master, so now you'll be able to see that as a thing.
No, I don't see it.
So you have to go to I think you have to go to
the
journal
purple
notes.
thing.
Go
I see it now. Perfect. Yeah, no, I see.
Now you can see what ones there being done. I can drag the sticky situation.
That's actually quite useful.
Yeah, it's really useful.
Yeah.
This
is really cool. Sorry, I just have to say this is cool stuff.
No, it is really cool.
Yes.
Definitely a lot of work gone into this. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I spent the last couple of days doing nothing but preparing the edicts.
Yeah, this is a lot of work, and I very much appreciate it. It's great.
But the downside is, while I actually knew basically all the things you could do, roughly speaking, putting all to paper and programming all the stuff together took a while.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think I want to do the envoy to Reichhold first.
All right.
So you want to get started with diplomacy that way.
Yeah, with Reichhold. I mean, Port Silver Swift is like the other side of Reichhold, so
Yeah.
we have time there.
Yeah.
Time.
As you can
It
see,
was
as you can see specifically, what that one will unlock if you do the Silver Moon Ball one is, well, it unlocks the mission, Silver Moon Ball.
yes.
The PCs get to go there and actually go to the ball.
As a question, the coronation was 13 weeks away.
13 weeks or 7 turns.
7
Yeah.
turns. Okay, so we got 7 turns to basically get Sorkai up and running at least, and get like some diplomacy going.
Well, how long does Sorkai take? 8 weeks.
A month. Oh, 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Wait.
It's 4 turns or 3 turns if Makara is one of the councillors doing it.
Which
She
she will
is,
be.
yeah.
So yeah, so 3 turns. So
That's
Plus, you
fine.
need either the treasurer, Ryden, or Vicus, which since the treasurer is currently Ryden.
And you need
yeah,
Amanas or Eliza.
Eliza. Yeah.
I can do the restoration of Sorakai. I'm
Yeah,
fine
Yeah,
with
I
that.
think so.
Unfortunately, Sorkai, as I said, needs 3 councillors in total. One of them needs to be you, certainly.
So we'd have Amanus, Ryden,
Amanas, Raiden, and Mikara.
Makara.
If you want to get started on that right up the gate.
I mean,
Do
it's,
we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Seeing how much we get
100%.
out of it at the bottom that we might need to do, and we also get another counselor slot, which is actually really good. So
Yeah, 100%. I think we need that. Also,
yeah.
because that research, totally won. It's like a huge deal for me.
Are you talking the research the stave one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, 100%.
So-
I think we should start that immediately.
I think
Same.
we should send Eliza on the noble protest and get that done ASAP as a council.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
You were doing Envoy to Reichhold, right?
Yes.
Sarah's? Okay.
I think actually, Mizara. I think that she could do Faithless Among Us. Reading it.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I don't like Faithless Among Us. I think that needs to definitely
I
look
think-
Right,
into.
so we're not gonna recruit them. We're just
I
gonna.
think that's eliminate them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking kill them.
Yeah, they were loyal to the old Inquisitor. They're not friends of ours.
100%. Yeah.
So you want her to eliminate mages?
Eliminate the mages.
You don't want mages?
I mean, I'd love mages, but they're like filthy
yeah, but these are enemy mages.
enemies. Yeah, they're enemies. They fought against us. They no. Like
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
That would be all council members involved in a task.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, right? We got all use our.
I think it's wonderful.
So you can just go through and review. But is that what you want to do as the council's objectives?
Let's see. Is there any recruitments that like we stuck out on?
I think we need a marshal. We need a
Yeah.
marshal.
She'll be finished in how long?
What?
Sarah, so you're finished in a turn, right? You can
Yeah.
go recruit Luck like after because the Unrest will hopefully be done. So you can,
Yeah,
like,
I
bring
feel like
them
Reichhold is fine. I think I'll do like Reichhold, then Luck.
yeah, and then go to Silvermoon or whatever
Then
else
go
you
to
want to do.
or yeah, go to Silver Moon Ball after that because I think. Well, I suppose it depends what it unlocks.
Depends what happens. But,
Yeah.
I think we've got some good decisions here. I'm happy with this. I think getting started on Sorkai is good early on because the quicker we have that, the better we can make it by the time we need it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start adding stuff up.
all right.
So, Annex Sorkai is 200 build points.
Yeah.
Yeah, 200 build points.
Yep.
Hello, Treasury. That's Annex Sorkai. Annex Sorkai. Of course, Makara is discounting the time it takes from 4 turns to 3 turns.
Yep.
Turns out she already kind of knows a lot about the city, just have to do half the research. That's convenient. Noble Protest doesn't cost anything. Envoy to Reichhold doesn't cost anything. Selling mining rights will gain you 200 build points if successful.
Yay.
Yes.
Sticky Situation costs nothing. And dealing with the Faceless Among Us is 10 build points. leave you with
That's
140 before gaining income.
Yep.
Okay. Now, final question: would you like? Are you using the retainers for anyone's task?
Serena with Eliza, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think Serena went with Eliza.
Do you want Persephone with you, Saris, as a marshal?
Was it Envoy with Reichhold?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, she can be your bodyguard, right?
Fuck it, why not?
Wait. Isn't
Unless-
she the one
unless-
that blows things up?
Yes.
We don't
Yeah,
want to
no,
blow
probably
up
not.
Reichhold.
No, we're not gonna.
She specializes in alchemist fire, guns, explosives.
Yeah, no. No.
No, I know what she
mean,
can go. No.
Maybe with Deadden for the slimes? I don't know.
No,
She's
no,
not
no,
gonna-
Yeah,
No,
yeah, it helps
no,
out with the slimes. That's
wait.
perfect.
No, because
What?
Zed's slime thing is like, is whatever. The enforcer,
pretty much.
kill the mages,
Oh yeah. Sorry, I
Oh
told.
yeah, that's
So
yeah.
dumb.
eliminate
Just
the mages.
kick in the door, throw grenades. There we go.
Easy.
It's like the Dresden files up here. It's like,
you-
oh no, there's
you
a
have-
vampire, and you're like, well, a hand grenade solves that
So,
problem.
so what I'm hearing is Mazzara is going to be going in with her arcane blades. Meanwhile, there's going to be a sniper rifle wielding gnome with grenades.
Correct.
Yeah. Just don't blow up anything valuable if you can help it.
Keep collateral damage to a minimum. Yeah.
If at all
not
possible.
the people, the items.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the people can. Yeah, of course.
The people can
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, there's definitely Persephone can definitely help with the favors among us. There's no issue there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
So
You're so
Serena
smart, Halldamir.
with Eliza, Persephone with Mazzara. Easy.
Oh, because I need to actually add this.
Yes.
A second. How do I reveal again? Because yeah, you knew software I have to figure out how to reveal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Oh yeah, your new squire.
Yeah, he's a squire.
Oh, so he is diplomatic.
He'll even
Interesting.
get like his little, like his own thing, like his own character sheet when he gets a level.
Actually, I do actually already have a character sheet for him, which I can set up for Jonas later.
Sweet.
But it's already a thing in the background, just in case you did pick him.
Is this like the Squire's first mission, like help the king in the frozen north?
Freeze to death as a squire.
Yeah.
So he
Survive.
doesn't. They don't give bonuses yet.
Yeah, right now they don't get bonuses. They can come along, but they just won't do anything right now.
Charlotte will definitely come along with me.
Once they reach level 3, I said they'd start getting council stats, which, going through, Theo's is either intrigue or magic.
Yeah.
Charlotte's is either learning or magic. And Ark's is either martial or diplomacy. Depending on what you decide to put him for.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say just having since he is a newly appointed squire, he will from now on pretty much be 2 steps behind Amanas wherever he goes.
And that's absolutely fine. He can be there. He can introduce you when you enter the room.
Yep, stuff like that needs to be happening. He needs to learn how to polish an armor, and then we'll do some sword fighting. And he'll see if he can put up, so to speak.
Can put him up against me when he's ready.
I can't remember. Can you give yourself bardic performance? Or bardic inspiration?
He from what I saw, he was more of a knight type fighter and not a knife fighter. So he's not the one who, I mean, because when Vickers fights, I imagine Vickers just knees someone in the groin and then stabs them through the skull with his knife.
Yeah.
He's
To answer
definitely-
your question though, Dark, you can't give it to yourself. I don't think normally.
Oh. Yeah, as a bonus action, a creature other than yourself within 60 feet.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I don't know if it's like some.
He can also protect another character. Can't protect himself with that ability. The joys of a support character. Yeah. Okay then. Let's see, what time is it now? It's currently 10:30 here, 11:30 for you guys.
Yeah.
This is probably a decent time to stop for now.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Works.
You've assigned the council's things. I will do some dice rolls between sessions to see what the council gets up to.
Awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed
Next time we'll
myself
come
this
back and
session.
we'll do. There'll be a little bit of decision making for all team PC, since all of you are currently on various jobs.
Yeah.
So we'll get to go over a few little things for that.
Mhm.
Um,
And while that's going on, Vickers and Amaris will have their meeting. But
you're free.
have
You're free to have that now or in private. Your pick.
We're gonna have a private to emulate the
Very sneaky.
sneaky. Yeah.
But yeah, the last thing, of course, for the group is, of course, at the very bottom of your journal section, there is in the PC missions and expeditions.
Yes.
And obviously, you have two things in there: the Caves of Longing.
Going for those caves.
Mm.
The rather dangerous dungeon, but hey, you can do it if you really feel like it or want to try. And then Cold Waters, which is Mazara's, equivalent companion quest.
We
Companion
need to do it
quest.
before the coronation. It says so. That's
Sure.
basically our time limit here.
Sure. I mean, the caves don't go anywhere.
At the end of the chapter, or else it expires.
Yeah. As a quick question, like when we decide to do these PC expeditions, do they take up a turn of our time?
So,
Or
no. Doing the PC expeditions do not take up time. So that's fine. Though you can't always do them if you're in the middle of another task necessarily, depending on what the task is.
yeah, if it just makes sense, if you're like somewhere else. Yeah.
For example, for Amnes, like while he's annexing Sorkai, he can't also go down to
Yeah, makes sense.
there.
Gotcha.
Not yet, at least. Not until you get teleportation circles online.
Yeah.
In one
Okay.
Monday.
Within reason. Okay, that makes sense.
Within reason, like with many tasks, though, you can overlap them with expeditions. It depends on how time-consuming the task is, basically. If it's a long task, you can't generally do it. If it's a short task, like only like one turn, you generally can.
Okay.
Or if your task takes place in the location in question. But
All right.
I imagine, with that one for Cold Wars, you're probably like a decent one for you guys would be combine that when you actually do the other expedition down in the Silver Isles, Silver Moon Ball.
Yes. Yeah.
So go do Noble Party and go do Mazara's mission.
Yep.
Hey, you'll get to be sightseeing as well.
That's
I
fun.
know this ends before. A few hundred years ago.
But very well. I hope you all enjoyed the first session, however.
Oh
fun.
yeah, definitely.
Great.
Let's see. Also, configure permissions. Everyone is now the observer of Arklan, and Rahal is now counted as the owner.
Ah.
You're now in the Squires and Apprentice section. Everyone should now be able to see him.
Yeah.
He has skills.
Yeah,
He
indeed
has
he
bardic
does.
inspiration and the ability to spend a reaction to impose disadvantage on targeting an adjacent ally. It's not bad.
It's very good.
Okay, yeah.
But you see, though, he is more a social butterfly than anything.
Good proficiency, piano. Well, that's gonna be tricky to bring in the field, but I appreciate it.
I mean, it's more useful for court situations. He can bring a lyre or a flute if he wanted to battle.
True. No, I would go with the piano.
We
You'll
take
have
one
to.
of those like synthwave guitars.
Look,
Maybe not in this fantasy.
Look, this should probably say a lot, though, about the kind of stuff his mother was putting him through to try and bring him up to like noble standards.
Yeah, no, I definitely see the upper middle class ambition here. Hand crossbow, how positively drow of him. Oh, I'm sure we can get some stuff going with this guy.
Yeah. As it stands, thank you all for session, though. I hope this has been fun.
Yeah, thank
Thanks.
you very much. You put in a lot of work into
Yep,
this. It clearly
Very
shows.
impressed.
It's been wonderful.
I'll be honest, most of the prep time was still me flailing on Foundry trying to figure out, like, how does this work? How does this plug in?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Still,
I-
though,
I-
it's nice to
thought-
see the results.
gray hairs trying to figure Foundry out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, now I understand how it works, and all of you seem to have connected without a hitch today, so that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how things go here.
Oh yes.
And as your council grows, because obviously you still got more slots to go.
Oh yeah.
You need a steward, a marshal, an admiral. So much more called.
All right. Well, thanks for the session.
Yes.
And thank you for playing.
All right. I'm gonna head off to bed. I'll catch you guys later.